able to hit that. It looked like he was getting a standing ovation earlier on. RKO out of nowhere!
Spoilers on who answered Randy Orton's open challenge. Although if you're watching this, you probably watched
I already know that.
So, yeah, we're live. It is not Thursday. It is a Tuesday. Lonely Mark's coming at you. JPO should be joining us soon, but Pez, myself, and Richie are all here to talk all that is WrestleMania, SmackDown, Raw, all of it. It was a great weekend for wrestling, in my opinion. The event, we'll get there, but a good weekend overall. Pez, how you doing?
No, I'm doing good. Yeah, it was a long weekend, but a lot of things going on. Yeah, a lot of build up. The actual show was, ups and downs, as we'll talk about, highlights and lowlights. But a great, Raw afterwards, so we could talk about that as well at the very end. But yeah, a lot happening, so we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, he's finally here. I don't know what finally means, but Richie,
I'm referencing someone that was supposed to show up and decided, I don't know, bullshitted the reason he didn't show up. Anyway, I will get to it.
And it's not a damage control mode as to why he didn't show up, but yeah.
But no, good to be here. Look, up and down show, but we'll get to it. I think I'm a bit more positive and sort of getting weirded out by negativity, but I get why. But we'll get to it.
Yeah, and like I said, JPO should be here very shortly. He was running some trivia, or playing in some trivia, whatever the case, but he should be here very soon. I say if you're looking for any AEW news, come back next week. It's already a loaded show talking WrestleMania and SmackDown. Raw.
There's not much on the AEW front, anyways, right. So it's fine, and we're doing this before Dynamite, so
right.
It's whatever. So yeah, we'll catch up on AEW next week on whatever's going on.
The weekend it kicked off. With SmackDown, and as has been tradition for the last couple of years at least, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal has been on SmackDown, and your winner this year was Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes getting the victory. I wonder if this turns into a kind of a push for him. Maybe he gets into that that mid-card title scene. I think he could be a good challenger for that U.S. title. I don't think he's going to win it now. We'll get there with the new champion. But Final Four, I believe it was Rey Fenix, El Grande Americano, Andrade, and Carmelo. And Carmelo eliminated Andrade to win. So unfortunately, I do not have.
Yeah, there you go.
Unfortunately, I did not watch SmackDown, so I did not get to watch the match. But I'm happy to see Carmelo get the win. Guys, did either of you see it, or at least
I don't get to watch SmackDown. It's not available for me, so I only see whatever highlights they put online.
No, I watched it. It was good. I guess because of Vegas and he's getting over, the crowd really wanted Karrion Kross to win. We'll probably get to him too. He had a really good promo off air as well. But yeah, they really wanted him to win. It was cool that it came down to Camilo and Andrade. It came down to Camilo and Andrade, and it was cool because they obviously had history. And then basically just sort of eliminated him clean, and then won it. It was pretty cool. It's good, and hopefully it's pushed from it. I just think the winner of the Andre the Giant needs something more, and just for Camilo's sake, he needs to get away from this tag team with the Miz. I know teams they need more teams, but I don't know. and then they're called Mellow Mellow doesn't Miz. That's stupid. That's a dumb name for it. So I don't know. I just think Miz doesn't. Like being with the Miz doesn't mean as much in 2025 as it did 10 years ago. So I don't know. I think he needs to go on his own. Miz is Miz. I just think he can, pop in and out. I think he's just more of a. I think he's more of a just make me just up from a job guy PR. He's good for PR. I don't know. I feel like he's sort of being with him is sort of anchoring him down. But yeah, it'd be cool if he got a US title shot. I could see him turning babyface at some point, which would be cool. And maybe he could do a program with somebody we might mention later. Or it'd be cool if he won Money in the Bank. And then got to that next level because he's really good. And yeah, we've not seen the NXT Carmelo yet, and I'll be wanting to for a while. So yeah, no, it was good.
Well, I was just happy. Ray Phoenix got double participation points for being in 2 matches that night.
I was about to say,
he's been a very good pickup so far, as far as participating in things.
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, the fantasy participants in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Lots of tag teams, but unfortunately they weren't competing as a tag team, so I couldn't count them as points. That is something that we established before the season. But yeah, Chad Gable was in, and Ray Phoenix, and Ludwig Kaiser, and Shinsuke Nakamura. So I believe that was two for Richie, and then 1 each for Pez and JPO, and I didn't have one.
No.
Come on, Ray, you couldn't be in also. Okay,
that was a funny thing, right? We'll get to it, but I thought it was interesting. Like when Ray laid out the challenge, I was like, oh, that's rich for you to lay out the challenge. You're the only fresh guy, and all the other people had a match.
And the fresh guy is the one that gets injured.
Yeah.
It's because he didn't warm up in the Battle Royal. You got to warm up, and then you would have
been. They were warm. They didn't.
They were loose. Well, apparently, we could get to that, but the Rey Mysterio thing, I guess it was his groin, like he pulled his groin or something like that, or tore his groin or something. Not necessarily like his knee or his leg. It was more his groin. That's why he couldn't get up and walk around.
But that was weird because before he was hardly in the match anyway. Like I felt like I looked down and looked up and he was just not in the match. And then all I saw was trainers, you could see the trainers aiding to him on the floor. But I'm like, what happened? He didn't really do many spots. So
yeah, but when you're that age or to any age, really, those things can happen just doing little things. I mean, remember Triple H tore his quad breaking up a Walls of Jericho. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can just happen. Things can just snap. Things can pull, especially
down the ramp.
Yeah, I mean, it's Ray's what, 50? Is it Ray 50 or something? Or close to 50?
Well, he's nearly 50, but yeah, you wouldn't know. But that's what I'm saying. I was but Ray was. I don't think he was. I don't know. I couldn't even remember if he even tagged in. I think he did. But yeah. Hey,
JP, how do you feel about Carmelo Hayes winning the Battle Royal?
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it. I'm glad they didn't forget about him. I was a little worried for a second about Carmelo. It kind of felt like they were already kind of cooled on him. Not necessarily that this is a perfect sign, because this is also the trophy won by Riddick Moss and others. So, but it's a good sign for now. So yeah, I even thought even when he was in the final 2, I predicted Andrade. I actually think they were going to give it to him.
Do you think he needs to get away from the tag team with the Miz?
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, well, they even said that. They said
they did say that during the pre-show. I don't watch SmackDown normally, so yeah, I missed some of the SmackDown things.
The commentator said they're in a tag team called Mellow Doesn't Miz, which is a fucking stupid name.
That's really dumb.
Oh my god, it's so bad that I want that T-shirt just because I used to enjoy having really bad T-shirts.
You know how many AEW T-shirts are probably out there of gimmicks or teams or whatever that lasted.
Oh, wow, yeah.
a month.
Short-lived, yeah.
Went nowhere. Like, because they make T-shirts of everything now.
Well,
Didn't Y2A
I was watching,
have a shirt?
yeah, well, in WWE, there was
Yeah.
Y2AJ, which was like literally a team for like a few weeks to set up a feud between the two.
I was watching, it was the best of, or a fan-made clip of RJ City's AEW, and it was just a barrage of like, oh yeah, I missed them, and oh yeah, Keith Lee, and oh yeah, oh they used to have the Hardys, and oh yeah, they, it was just because it was all just quick clips of like everybody real quick, and just a barrage of like, oh wow, that's right, they were with the company, and oh yeah.
Yeah, we're just talking SmackDown real quick. The SmackDown before Mania. So yeah, the Battle Royal. We had the tag team title match, which ended. I'm for fantasy wise, I have been going off cage match, and I'm going to stay consistent and just use cage match as the results. And it has the Street Profits defeating the Motor City Machine Guns by DQ, which I mean technically it's a title defense, whatever JPO. But it is setting up a TLC match for this Friday on SmackDown between
TLC match for not WrestleMania, SmackDown next week.
That would be nice.
I've been playing devil's advocate with that. Like, I get some people wanting that on the card. It is a big match, but also it's huge for the SmackDown after Mania. It gives the tag team division the focus. It's not getting lost in the shuffle, between all the Paul Heyman stuff, the John Cena.
It's giving them the focus on SmackDown, is I think a lot of people's problems, instead of on Mania. You know what I mean?
Which it wouldn't be the focus.
I'd rather beat match 3 on Mania than match 5 on SmackDown any day of the week.
And one thing, it's like
but I do see what you're saying, though, Jacob. I do see what you're saying.
It's that big match, that big moment. Like, what are we going to do to get people to tune in? And then it's like, TLC. Also, I think it's the first TLC match since like 2020 or 2021. Like, it's been a while.
Yeah,
I feel
like I get
That's
it.
kind of interesting.
But I think there'd be more anticipation in WrestleMania because it's not because again, like TLC match or it's people hype. It's not like it's like out of the team matches. It's not going to be like which tag match are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to the War Raiders and the New Day? Are you looking forward to the women's tag match? No, I'm looking forward to TLC. So I think there'd be more. Yeah, I don't know. But I get.
Well, you're not gonna take the women's off, and the only thing you could argue for the New Day is just simply just to give New Day a nice Mania moment that they technically had. They were undefeated, being defeated.
Which I mean, if you are putting it in that place, that match only got like 10 minutes. Are you giving this match 10 minutes, or are you giving it 20 to or so? So I mean, it also could have been a matter of timing. Like, although you have so much time in between matches,
that's why Peacock sucks.
Some stuff. I feel like get rid of premium when it comes to the live events. Like just you don't need to have these 5-minute videos and the ads and all that. Like,
well, you do. They're a business.
I
hate admitting that because I hate it, but like I get sadly why it's done.
It's very obvious it's a business. We'll get to it. My God, why did every match with Mania have to be like sponsored by something? Fucking hell!
That sadly has been a thing now for the last few years.
I know, but it was like very locked in this year. Oh my God!
It's been locked in. Rey Mysterio and Dominic, their big blow off match. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, like it's still built in my mind. We mentioned before, dude wipes.
We'll get to it, but the War Raiders needed all the help they could get. They don't and they look like fucking.
Oh yeah, we'll get to it. They look like fucking geeks.
No, I'm looking forward to the match, not only because 2 of the 3 teams are on my fantasy roster, but because it just should be a really good match. Give them plenty of time. And WWE, please, you've been uploading full matches. This should be one of them.
Well, I can argue on that. They also want you to fucking get the channel. Like, you want it just because of ease. Which I'm
not saying like upload it immediately, but like they've done that a few times, like with some of these bigger moments. And
I just hope, like you said,
selfishly,
time wise, I literally hope the entrances start at like 9:15. I hope the entire match is given like a half an hour.
right. If this is the main event, this could very well be a thing where they kick off the show. I don't know. Like they've done
And
that
it's,
before
and it's
too.
the opener, and it goes 8 minutes, and it could have been on Mania.
Right, and then I'll be like, oh, never mind, I was wrong. But yeah, just to run down the rest because I'm not really. Zelina Vega defeated Chelsea Green. That's important fantasy wise for Richie. Chelsea Green getting you some points for fantasy.
I thought this was a redo because of like the fuck up from last week. That's probably what was supposed to happen.
And then Vega still won. I wonder if she was supposed to win, just not the way she won last week. And then Richie, you'll also like this LA Knight because, like I said, I've been using cage match.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be consistent. LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa ended in a no contest, and then we had a tag match between Braun Strowman and LA Knight defeating Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. So,
Thank you, Teddy Long. I mean, they got it.
Yeah, Pez, you'll be getting points for Jacob Fatu for that, as well as the Mania points that we'll get to later. And then, our main event, we saw the LWO, Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, who unfortunately got injured, and Rey Fenix. So again, Pez getting triple points this weekend for Rey Fenix, looking like a good pickup.
Hell of a pickup, yeah.
Defeating the American-made Brutus Creed, Chad Gable, Julius Creed. So JPO picking up points for having all three of those. Getting those main event points. And I mentioned this to Pez off air. I'll mention it now. I need to go through and remath some things. I have been giving main events on TV 5 extra points.
Oh my god, that's gonna change things.
That's my bad. I could either go through and fix it or continue to score it the way I've been scoring it. I will leave that up to you guys. But yeah, I don't think it's going to change much in the way of standings. I think things still was shaken out the way they've been shaken out, because it's only like 1 or 2 people, getting that main event win. But man, no, that was SmackDown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 matches on SmackDown. There were only 3 on Monday Night Raw, which we'll get to after.
It was a very heavy wrestling SmackDown. I was surprised. Yeah. Usually SmackDown is a very talky go-home show, but yeah.
Right. So, no, we'll before we get into that though, JPO, I wanted to ask you before because I know you watched some other wrestling events. Just real quick, what are your non-WWE highlights of the weekend?
Well, are we going to talk NXT a little bit too, just to throw that in there because they had a couple new champs.
We can touch on that real quick too, yeah.
Yeah, no, I just want to shout out Sel Ruka won that ladder match, so she's your new North American Women's Champ. And then we have new tag champs, which again make you think Frexium's coming because Hank and Tank won the tag titles. Both good matches too, by the way. I wasn't huge on Hank and Tank, but they put in a really good effort on Saturday, so they're your new tag champs. Also, too, they announced WWE Unreal is coming this summer to Netflix, another kind of backstage-like TV show. So, you've never before seen. They always say that whenever they do a documentary. Oh, we'll let you behind the curtain even more than ever before. You're in the curtain. You are the curtain, motherfuckers. Yeah, so.
I don't know if I like that Unreal. It makes it sound like it's very much referencing wrestling's fake, guys. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I guess you can take it that way. I didn't really take it that way, but I could say that. Yeah, I feel like it's so unreal, because sometimes you say that about real things too. Sabu had his first match in 4 years, what's being billed as his final match, 17 minutes. Him and Joey Janela. I think you can find at least clips of that online here. Sabu and falling in a barbed wire at his age multiple times, and did come out with the W on that one here. The clusterfuck happened. That's always a fun time. It's the Royal Rumble on acid. Even the commentators admitted. Let's see how dumb this will get this year.
2.5 hours.
Way to kill my news. Yeah, I'm the one that timed it. Richie, let me say it. I timed it. Me and Richie. Richie, how late was it for you? What time was it for you?
I got home. It finished probably around like 8 p.m. my time, but I got home.
Okay, so whatever. I don't even care about you then. I stayed up till 6 a.m. trying to finish that fucking match. Holy shit. I watched it live. 2 hours, 20 minutes that match happened. I tried keeping track of the participants. I got 87 on my list. And that's because sometimes they would literally be like, here's 6 people from Atlanta. Like, they would throw in staples sometimes. So
and
I
then
got a little lost every
JCW,
once in a while.
Team JCW.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They were throwing stables. Yeah, they were throwing the Team Juggalos, all those guys. So, yeah. Some notable participants. I'm not named 87. Don't worry. Snitsky, who kicked the baby. That was awesome. We got that call back because Santana Jackson, the Michael Jackson impersonator, came out with little blanket baby, and Snitsky kicked it. And if you go in cage match, Blanket is considered a participant. That's why I say 87-ish. I don't know how you want to take that. Warlord, the legend Warlord was in it. Human Tornado was in it. A little bit of a Mexicools reunion, Juventud and Super Crazy. Dustin Thomas, the wrestler that has no legs. Invisible Man, who got many eliminations. Yoshihiko, which is a doll. Just a doll. Micro Man, who's a previous winner, by the way. Paul London. And your final 4 were men like DeReese, who, in general, I thought had a standout weekend. He's a really good guy. He raps his way through the ring. He had several great matches this week. I saw him a lot. He popped up on my feet a lot. Men like DeReese, Megan Bain, Joe Janela, and the winner of the clusterfuck, Brody Lee Jr., the son of Brody Lee, at whatever, 14, 15, whatever he is, wins the match. He comes out. He's the last participant. Chris Bay introduced him. Which at first I was like, Chris, because at first it made it seem like Chris Bay was about to get in the ring. I'm like, stop it. No, what are you doing? Not yet. But no, he introduced Brody Lee Jr., who, did just a couple quick things to get the win in the clusterfuck. And anything you want to add to the clusterfuck, Richie?
I was going to ask you, is this the first time that the clusterfuck's been its own thing? Or
they did it last year, I believe. I believe this is the second time. So yeah, it started off as just a part of the show, and I want to say there was only like less than 40 people the first time, so it was just a match of the show. They skipped it during the small pandemic year, 2021. They skipped it because probably they probably didn't want like a shit ton of roster there anyway. And then I think after that they were like, all right, people do like the clusterfucks. People were sad they missed it that year, so they kind of made it its own show now. Because there's only this and a 7-way cage match, and that's all it was on the show.
Yeah,
because again, that's still a 3-hour show because this was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think maybe because of its own thing and didn't have much on. They're like, yeah, we can fill up a lot of time. And it's like, yeah, I'm all good with it being longer than the Rumble, but 2 and 20 asking a lot, especially that.
No, my critiques would be it definitely does bleed in. Like even the Invisible Man stuff, like funny once, funny twice.
They went on for way too
his
long.
8th person. Like, all right, guys, come on. What else? You know what I mean? Like, you're really dragging the joke out here. Too many and again, I'm sure it's a Mania moment or Mania weekend moment for some of the smaller guys, but there were several names that I have no idea who they were, and they were there just to get eliminated. Like that happened a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, there's some fun to be had, but I definitely do enjoy the. I'd say a solid hour or something is more than enough.
Yeah, it's worth noting too. Invisible Man eliminated the GCW heavyweight champion Effie. That shouldn't happen.
A weird side note. Yeah, Effie did not have a good night. He's the world champion. He was in it for like a minute and a half or like 3 minutes something. So I thought he looked weak. I thought that was a weird decision. I don't know if he was hurt too, because I feel like Effie didn't do too much. I know he's on Big A Brunch, I guess. So he's probably not that hurt, but I'm just surprised that their world champ jobbed pretty quickly in their own Rumble. But yeah, no, there's lots of other just fun stuff. Nothing too much more to take a note of. I watched Defy had a good show. Their 3-way main event was Clark Connors, Man Like DeReese again, and El Phantasmo. They had a good one. Impact had one. Sydney Akeem, a.k.a. Reggie, debuted over at that one. Jordan Oliver came back from injury. That was cool. On spring break, Jordan Oliver had been out of action for a while. He came back and won their tag titles along with Alec Price. Super Show was weird. Butterbean versus Suzuki was worse than you could imagine. I love you, Butterbean. Your story of the comeback is beautiful. You shouldn't have been in a match. And I feel bad for people that paid money to see that match. I actually would have been mad because last year they made you pay for the High Spot show on a separate network. This was likely on Triller, so no extra money spent. Thank God, because I thought they went too wacky this year. The Con Super Show. They've had better booked matches in the past, but yeah, Butterbean could barely move. I knew we were in trouble. It's 3 2-minute rounds, and which means worst case scenario, Butterbean just has to go 6 minutes. You know what I mean? That's not too long. And in the first round, I was like, all right, we're at the minute mark, and they haven't touched.
I apparently heard something to where Butterbean might have actually had a broken leg going into that match.
What the hell?
Maybe even more of a reason why.
Yeah.
Pivot then, man. If
then
you got
why do it?
Crowd, pivot.
Yeah.
I don't think I could be wrong. Let us know in the comments if you would have been upset if they canceled that match. Like, even from the get-go, I was like, this just sounds
You're
like
at a WrestleCon. Have anybody else wrestle Suzuki. Anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many people.
I mean, yeah, easily pivot. Matt Riddle's in town, and I don't anybody. Literally anybody. I could go. I can name 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
I can name 80 from the clusterfuck that could have done it.
There were 87, yeah.
But we had this conversation before where, like, I mean,
3 of them don't exist.
This is the first time we. I watched some of WrestleCon, like, but they've got all these wrestlers to choose from. It wasn't really a star-studded show like usual. Like I did watch this awkward moment where they're like, "Hey, we've got a surprise guest. It's Sean Mooney." And I'm like, and the crowd's just like, "Huh? Oh, yeah, we don't remember that guy."
Don't be too mean to Sean Mooney. He got a little pop, but like, yeah, it's not. I feel like in the past years when, like, for instance, just to make a comparison in your defense, Richie, like, I remember past years it was like, look, Jushin Thunder fucking Liger is here randomly. Like, so yeah, it is a bit of a come down compared to some other years, but
yeah, he just had he had nothing really to say. So okay, cool. All right, cool. Sean Mooney's here. And he's gone. All right,
yeah, just there to be there. No, and I was also sad too. They always do a really crazy 10-man tag every year at the WrestleCon Super Shows, like a tradition, and for some reason this year it was just the very Lucha Libre heavy this Mania, like and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but like even for high spots in the past years it's been like literally just named the most random people. Like one year it was a team of, I swear to God, it was like Onita, the deathmatch wrestler from FMW, with Fandango, Barry Horowitz, like the most random like people in a 10-man tag. Colt Cabana, Abyss, Bubba Ray Dudley, like they would just pick like I feel like they went into WrestleCon, like the lobby, and went $300. You want to wrestle 10-man? You want to wrestle 10-man? Just went around to the most random people, and that was missing this year. Like that's one of my favorite traditions that they kind of killed this year.
Mm.
But otherwise, fun stuff, All on a lot of it's on Triller. If you're interested, all the GCW Collective shows are on Triller. A couple of them are even on YouTube.
I watched the Spring Break show. I did watch pretty much all of that.
Yeah.
That show had a little bit of everything for everybody. You had to do your deathmatch crazy stuff. But you also had like Megan Bain and Bozilla was fun. Too. It was like
that's a good one.
Basically like a lady hoss fight. If you want to see that, because Bozilla.
My first viewing of her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Bozilla is bigger than Megan Bain, so it's like it was, an interesting, thing of her like playing underdog almost, which you don't see that often. I watched the Mance Warner, Gabe Kidd match. Like they beat the hell out of each other. That was fun. The barbed wire main event was nuts. Yeah, the bump Sabu took where he got whipped into the rope, into the door in the ropes, and the thing broke, and he like went head first, like over the apron, like out to the floor and busted his head open. That was really bad. That was really nasty. But yeah, like that show was overall seemed like one over, and that venue they had was pretty cool. They said it was probably the biggest GCW show they've ever done, like 2,200 people or something at that Palms. Like
I don't know if the Hammerstein would match it, maybe, but in general, because like they had like levels, like
it kind of looked like the Hammerstein because it was like 3 levels of seating. Yeah, it was kind of cool. Yeah, but
no, it did. It looked good on camera. It seemed like it was pretty packed for at least the big ones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So watched all that. Few select other things, not a whole lot, but yeah.
Just quickly, it's worth noting too that in the clusterfuck that a lot of the WWE ID guys were in there. So yeah, I guess that's kind of cool. That's
I
kind
mean,
of cool.
that's not really abnormal. The only weird thing about it to me was they wore their like ID tracksuits. But then later on, I kind of thought about it. I was like, maybe that's just because they're trying to get like the ire of the GCW crowd. Like, hey, motherfuckers, we're ID'd. Like, at first I was like, you have gear, but
We're gonna
They-
be somebody.
they're all bookable. Like, I could book those guys tomorrow if I wanted to. You know.
Yeah.
Who won that tournament, by the way?
It's not done.
Oh,
They're
not
all
done.
like round
Okay.
one
Oh,
matches.
it's the first round. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zeta Steel got to shine the most. She was actually in there for quite a bit before she got on there, so that's kind of good.
Yeah, she had a good run. I'm trying to think of other people that had good runs. Not too many actually. A lot of people in it pretty briefly for the most part.
Mhm.
Stinsky, honestly, one of the best runs.
He just left, by the way. He did a spot and then he went.
One of the so even at the beginning of the match, they do go eliminations can occur over the top rope, pinfall, submission, and by leaving the building, like, and that's what Stinsky did. He did his
a
shit
spot and then went home.
and just left. Like, all right. I think they started that because Dink the Clown was in it a few years ago. Not Doink, Dink, the midget one.
Mhm.
And because he couldn't bump, like he did his like shtick and then just left because like he's not gonna go over the top rope and take a bump. Like he's older and whatnot. So that's how it started because they were just like, all right, we got to add that to the rules now. But also feel just leaving the fucking building.
That's great. Yeah. And yeah. Shout out to Stand and Deliver. It was a good show. I watched the final two matches of that. The women's
Yeah.
match was really good.
It was a good show.
Shout out to Javon Evans. He was over with the crowd. I swear, if he won the title, like that crowd, I feel like that crowd would have that would have been a pretty decent pop. I'm glad he didn't. I like
He's a young
Overfemi,
OG.
but
You still got time.
yeah, he's only 20. Like he's got so much of a future. So
You need to drill that into Brian Alvarez's head, who goes, "Oh my god, they're gonna go." He's young, dude. Hang on. I know they did do a number on him booking wise sometimes though, so I'm glad they're kind of they're rehabbing him a bit. So, yeah, that was cool.
Then after 3 hours of a pre-show, which included the announcement of WWE acquiring AAA. They had a big segment on that, so it'll be
and announcing a Worlds Collide show
Worlds
in
Collide.
was it June or July? Like
June 7th.
Yeah.
So that'll be the afternoon, and then later that evening it'll be Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So two
Mike
shows. Mike Ego, who got involved in one of the matches we'll get to on night one. It'll be interesting to see how they book that Worlds Collide and what the future of AAA looks like under the umbrella with WWE.
My only question is
I'm just wondering about both Del Rio.
Yeah, the AAA champion is Alberto Del Rio. He's suspended at the moment. I just feel like they're probably going to vacate. They're probably going to strip the title. I don't see them working with Alberto Del Rio.
He's going to lose to El Grande Americano.
You joke. I could see him doing.
I could see El Grande Americano being on the show. I could see that if it's still going by then. Yeah, I can see that.
I wasn't sure how to feel about this gimmick at first, but it's growing on me.
I like it.
I'm starting to really enjoy it. But we'll get to that because that's not till match 5. We did kick off, as we all kind of figured, we kicked off with the World Heavyweight Championship match between Jey Uso and Gunther. Jey Uso finally getting one up on Gunther. I feel like this wasn't really any different from their previous matches. I mean, we saw a little bit more of a fight in Jey Uso at the beginning, kind of taking it to Gunther, but I feel like this was, if you saw one of their matches, like you saw this one, with the exception of the finish, Jey Uso come out in the comeback, and then putting the sleeper on Gunther. And this is the only problem I have with the match. I think the match is fine. I think the finish happened much too quickly. I think he tapped out way too soon. I don't mind the submission finish. I think it's great for the story. drag it out, make it last a little bit longer. Gunther, make him fight out of it. But other than that, I'm happy to see Jay as champion. His entrance, I think his entrance could rival the Undertaker's in terms of length coming down the out of the stand. Oh my goodness, it was quite a ways to the ring.
They showed one angle behind him. There was a camera behind him, and you saw the ring, and the ring looked like it was a mile away. And I was like, "Oh my god, it's going to take him forever to get to the ring!" Holy cow!
Then we got to Raw. We'll talk about it. That was ages as well. I mean, it was a celebration, but my god.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that. We can touch on that briefly too. But yeah, no, I thought this was a decent way to kick off Mania. I think Jay is still over with the crowd, despite what some people might say on the internet. Internet wrestling fans are.
They did my head in this weekend. I'm done.
They just hate to hate, but
guys, think, Zach Shelton's watching. All right,
but no, I'm happy to see Jay as champion, not just because he's on my fantasy roster, but because I think it's he's been in the WWE for what 15 years now. I think he's done a great job breaking off as a single star. I would love to see the Usos get back together at some point, go on another tag team title reign, but I'm loving the singles reign that Jay's on right now. But yeah, we can go around. What do you guys think of the opener? Pez, we'll start with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, we all pretty much assumed that Jey Uso was going to win the title, and pretty much rightfully so, and he did, and it was one of his better matches, I'll say, in recent memory. I still don't think it was like the classic, he probably needed, although it was better than your average kind of Jey Uso match. It's still hard to have a really bad match with Gunther, but yeah, I think. Yeah, I really only have the same criticism you have, which is like, yeah, sure, you hit him with a couple of splashes and whatnot, and that's fine. But yeah, he puts him in the sleeper, and Gunther within about 5 seconds taps out, and I'm just like, wait, what? Like no struggle, try to get to the ropes, fight a little bit, maybe even pass out. Like I might have even heard him like passing out instead of just tapping out immediately. But maybe that will play into. A new side of a more vicious Gunther, as we kind of saw on Raw, which we can touch on a little bit. What his fire, but I mean, it was still a good opener. It was the right call to kick off the show with it, and everybody going with that. So I don't know how long this reign will be. I don't think it'll be a super long reign. I think we'll probably move on to other things by about halfway through the year.
SummerSlam max.
Probably SummerSlam. Yeah, I don't see it lasting super long, kind of like a Damian Priest situation, sort of. But he'll still get his time to shine for a little while. So yeah, it was a good solid opener to open the show. I'll say that. I think Night 2 had a better opener. We'll talk about, but at least as far as the hype, it's the one that should have opened the show.
Yeah, for sure. JPO.
Yeah, no, pretty much what you guys said. Good opener. I like that. Like you said, Jay had a little bit more fight in him because he had the kind of trying to show the character had more confidence this time around. The only thing I saw someone else try to point out for the finisher was, I guess, Dragunov defeated him in a very similar way in NXT, like as in like a chokehold and a tap pretty quickly. So I don't know if they're gonna make that part of like the Luther, wrong guy, Gunther lore. I mix Gunther and lore. I think Luther Gore. The Gunther lore of like, okay, that's his Achilles heel. Is that choke lock? Like maybe like my father choked me as a kid, and I have a thing about it. I just don't like it. Who knows? Yeah, and he's not into that. So like, and I hope they do, because like you guys said, like we all people was watching together, and I remember everyone was like, it's done. Okay, cool. Like it did sink you like kind of like aback, because like you said, we're used to, if it is a submission, like Pez said, maybe he gets to the ropes, he pushes him back, and it's Gunther too. It's not just anybody. It's Gunther, who you would think could last in a submission for a while. But yeah, otherwise, good way to open the show. Shout out to Jay. I also agree. Like, if Gunther wasn't probably going to face Goldberg, I feel at some point, I'd even say maybe Gunther just gets it back in April. Like, I don't know, or like at the next show. But I'm sure he'll have it for at least a few months, like you guys said.
Richie?
Yeah, I don't know if I can see that why they make that comparison, but I don't know if that comparison really works with Ilya, because prior to that match, like Ilya and Gunther were beating the shit out of each other. Like this wasn't an all-out brawl.
That match was like an epic 25-minute back and forth beatdown. Like it wasn't. This match was not that. So yeah, I don't like that comparison really.
Gunther was just like once he tried to put the choke in multiple times, and when he finally got it, it was just Gunther. He ran out of gas. So it was like that made more sense in context. Instead, like I guess. Echoing you, I thought it was a good match, but just the end. I think he should have struggled a bit more, or like got into a position where he couldn't. He'd either have to tap out or pass out. So, I don't know. I see a rematch down the line, and maybe there'll be a bit more, of that definitive. And if I'm hazard a guess, I actually think probably the next champion is going to be Seth Rollins. I think that would be the, I don't know, just where they're going could be the logical step. But no, I see him holding it for a few months. But this is a good match.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the draft too, because we still have the draft to.
Yeah.
If Seth and Jay wind up on the same brand, I could definitely see that happening. But just to touch on the aftermath real quick. Jay, he just had a celebration. Sami Zayn returned, came out. Sorry I couldn't be there, but I'm proud of you. The whole time I was waiting for him to like turn on him too. Like they were both on the ropes, and then they came down, and there was a shot of Jay on the ropes, and Sami was behind him. And I'm like, oh, is Sami gonna turn heel? But maybe they didn't, because we already saw one earlier in the show. Jimmy comes out. It's like one of those celebrations you see after the show, only they did it on the show instead. Just a time filler, I guess. As far as Gunther, the crowd started chanting. He tapped out. I guess Michael Cole even said it. Gunther comes out because after we returned from break, Gunther's at the announce table. Kind of getting in Michael Cole's face. Pat McAfee tries to help him. Pushes Pat away, grabs Michael Cole, starts putting the sleeper on him. Pat McAfee punches him, gets him off, and then Gunther chokes him out. I don't know if this is going to lead to anything, if this is just maybe this leads to a suspension for Gunther just to give him some time off. I don't know. And then he returns, kind of like he did last year. He lost the IC title and was gone until the King of the Ring was announced. But interesting to see, who Jay's first challenger will be, and then what happens with Gunther, because we're only 3 weeks away from Backlash, and if the title's going to be,
I don't even think there's going to be. There might not even be a world title match on.
There might not, because we'll get to what the potential main event could be.
Well, it definitely is.
I mean, I'm talking about I'm talking about the world heavyweight title. I don't know if there's going to be a world heavyweight title match.
The world heavyweight. I mean, I don't know if it needs to, but I mean, I could actually Gunther maybe like. I mean, I know Pat's mainly the commentator, but he has the match here and there. Like I know he's like, you would never beat Gunther, but like having good, doing Gunther and Pat would be, just for like to build as like a thing to gradually go somewhere else would be kind of interesting. And I still think they might be going, as much as the chagrin of JPO, I think they're probably still gonna. There is that idea that Goldberg's still waiting in the wings, so they might still be going that direction. So maybe having a match with Pat, and then I don't know, it could lead there. So you could do a Pat match, but Pat's not going to beat him obviously, because that'd be burial. But you could do something like that. I just sort of, in my opinion, I thought Michael Cole was a bit of a play stupid games, win stupid prizes, when he was just like, well, to be fair, I'm not the one who tapped out. I'm like, shut up. Okay, well, you know what? You You deserve that. Like if someone's about to kill you, just shut up.
Don't poke the bear.
Yeah.
Um, but no, and shout out to Pat. He sold it pretty well too. I think.
The whole thing reminded me of when remember that angle when Taz went to attack Jim Ross and like Jerry Lawler punched him in the face like out of nowhere, to like defend his buddy. Like it's very similar to that. You know what I mean? So and I was like the whole thing. I was like, who are these people on the other side? Who's being like held back? Like what the hell's going on? And apparently it was like,
it was his friend.
Goons from the show. Yeah, I was like, okay.
They jump. Everyone goes and stops them, and there's like one person trying to get Gunther
how
off
about
the pad,
that? How about
like,
you guys try to save Pat first? Okay,
they're just trying to help his friend. Like they're on your side.
Yeah,
they want what you want.
But I mean, I thought Michael's something was kind of funny because even like halfway through the show, he's still going. I'm like, you got choked like for a couple of seconds.
He might have a broken nose.
But he's like,
Yeah,
he broke my nose. I'm like, well, wouldn't you be bleeding? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where that goes. But yeah, and
keep
then
in mind there's a Saturday Night's Main Event 2 weeks after Backlash. You could build some stuff for that too.
That's right.
I mean, that might be good. That maybe good better for for Saturday Night's Main Event.
Just I would be fine with that being on a Saturday Night's Main Event. You could do a World Heavyweight Title match on Saturday Night's Main Event, because they've done that before. I would say that and then the Backlash could be, we'll talk about it later, but the Cena Orton and the tag match that they look like they might be setting up, for that.
Yeah,
could be your big matches for that. And then save some stuff for Saturday Night's Main Event literally 2 weeks later. I think you could save some, some of the other feuds and the things. You could have a tag title match on that show, whatever. Like you could do some other things that literally look at this guy just like 2 weeks after Backlash. So you could have some stuff, go there. Because Backlash, if it's any indication, Triple H likes to book 5-6 matches tops, for these pay-per-views, so you can't have everything on there.
Right.
It's only going to be some stuff.
I can think of 3 already that potentially could be on there, but if they're not on there, they're going to be on Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But our following match was the Raw, not the Raw Tag Team. They're not the Raw Tag Team Champions anymore. It's the World Tag Team Championships now.
Mm-hmm.
The New Day versus the War Raiders. In a very good TV match that was on WrestleMania. I don't really have much like this. This was exactly what I thought it was going to be, minus the Big E involvement.
It would have been a WrestleMania worthy thing if something with Big E would have happened. That seemed odd. Let's keep this on Mania and not do something with Big E. Okay.
You don't have to be physically involved. Just like be, you could have just
show up.
There.
Yeah.
I kept waiting. Like they had a, they always have like these weird camera angles, and there was a thing where New Day was like walking back up the ramp, and they stopped, and there's like, and then once again the camera was like kind of looking to the side of them, like to the ramp, and I kept waiting for like his music to hit and come out and at least like confront them, on the ramp, because that would have been something. And then no, we just moved on to the next thing.
It is worth noting that I don't think. They did a segment on night 2. It was like the Annie Up. It was Peter Rosenberg, Jey Uso, Killer Mike, and Big E. And under Big E's name, it still said WWE Superstar. It didn't say anything else. So hopefully that's not like ruling out like a return, or maybe they just don't have anything else to put under. Maybe I'm reading way too much into it, but hopefully like it means.
I don't think the name graphic guy is trying to hint at us.
He's still listed as a superstar.
I know, you're hoping. You're
holding on hope.
You're hoping.
I'm holding on to
too.
hope.
Yeah.
But JPO, what did you think of the tag title match?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, this met expectations, and that means that's not great. Because we saw pretty much the same match the week before, but and then a DQ to get this rematch here. I'm not against New Day finally winning. They had that great split off from Big E, and then it just kind of trickled down very quickly. Like they even lost like their first feud with Rick Ray for a second. So I'm happy that they're actually now like at the top of the roster, and they have titles for the first time in a while. So I'm happy with that. As we previously mentioned too, though, I feel bad for the Viking Raiders because they gave them like 8th grade cosplay like items to wear. Like it was like they were all foam and cheap looking,
Ugh.
and like it makes me also wonder. Like I know that wasn't their idea. I'm sure WWE came to them and was like, "Wear this," and they were like, "How much are we getting paid again?" All right, fine, fuck it. Like because they could have had a really cool entrance. They are the Viking Raiders, and unfortunately, like not to be mean, I don't know if they're gonna have many more Mania moments. Like they could have had a really cool entrance. Instead, they had this. I've seen better cosplay as a LARPer. This was cheap LARP.
Richie?
Yeah, this match was a match. Yeah, you could have. I guess it was just cool to see like they win the tag titles, but like, I don't know. This could have. Otherwise, I thought this was on Mania because of maybe a Big E appearance, but this could have been Raw. The Viking Raiders look like dorks because they look so uncomfortable, and there's these Clash of Clans or whatever that mobile game they're trying to shill.
Hold on, I got to pull it up here. I'll show everybody for anybody who didn't see. Oh my god, did that look cheap? Holy hell!
My god,
that looks like they came out, and I remember even on the stream just being like, "Wow, that looks like some plastic bullshit right there." Like,
hey, Mom, I got a party tonight. Can
Mom,
we're in
the park doing our LARPing thing this weekend. Can you make me something? Well, I got this and this in the garage. I'll make something, I guess.
I've got a costume party tomorrow. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me a few days ago? I don't know.
Holy hell!
I don't know. I'm looking forward to maybe in a few years down the track when maybe Viking Raiders have done WWE. I see the inevitable Chris Van Vliet interview, and he brings that up. I want to get their opinion on what fucking happened to wear that.
I was gonna say maybe we just not got the WrestleMania '93 documentary, so 20 years from now we'll get the documentary by this year, and the Viking Raiders just, God damn it.
Some mobile game that lasted 2 months that nobody cares about anymore.
Yeah,
we had to show
that's a trivia question. Actually, honestly, we don't know the name of it now, let alone years from now. That also threw me off at the beginning of the show. They had like the DJ dressed as the other guy too, and I was like, who the fuck is it supposed to be?
And also you had that cringy shit off to the side of the stage for every other match where they're like, and here's the Minute Maid lemonade benches, and people were like holding up cardboard 12 packs of Minute Maid lemonade, and somebody in a goofy outfit, like there was a drumstick, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like super cringy shit.
I will say, I don't know if you watched me earlier on this episode, I was drinking a Minute Maid. It did work. I wanted some Minute Maid.
But and then there's it's supposed to be like I can't remember what it was, but it's supposed to be like a all out blood feud, and it's like, this is brought to you by Dude Wipes. Like, man.
Well,
the juice box. We got our fans in the juice box. What is this garbage?
They were rocking like couches though. I want those seats. They were like couches. I was like, holy shit.
Oh my god. And people are like, look, we got Minute Maid. Woo! Like
the juice box is where I will be performing that in just a couple hours.
Yeah. Can I bring up one other thing? Because I think it fits here, because it fits in with the advertising. Netflix clearly said, hey, guys, look, we've got spare tickets for WrestleMania, and just went, anybody on the network that get free tickets, just like, hey, this person's got a Netflix show. Yeah. And then the TKO obviously put a bunch of UFC fighters, but then there was this this person from this random Netflix show is here. Hey,
they're randomly all this random celebrity stuff is getting really tiresome on every pay-per-view, every Raw, every other commercial. We have to go, who's in the second row of from this thing you've never heard of and this thing you've never heard of, and I don't give a shit who's there. I don't care.
I felt bad because it was there was these. It was on Raw too. There was Indian Bollywood guy they showed a couple of times. It was just oh, he's from the Indian version, or Ray Donovan or something like that.
Look at it I try to look at it like this. At least they're just in the crowd and they're not in a main event angle like the Cena versus. Oh, never mind. That's a Travis Scott joke. Not the Travis Scott.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All right. Pez, your thoughts on the?
Yeah, it was a Raw match. We can move on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was a Raw match on Mania. What are you gonna do? Well, nobody gives a shit about the War Raiders, and it's unfortunate because they were over in NXT, and now nobody cares.
And they're really good, and it's I don't know why
they're really good, and they work hard, and nobody cares. It's unfortunate.
And I'm wondering if WWE still cares about the tag division on Raw, because the following night they came out and who did they get interrupted by? Who was their first defense going to be against Alpha Academy? Until Rusev decided to return. So Rusev is back. Yeah, he did return during the New Day segment. New Day was like, "We're out." So
we know where this is going.
Unfortunately, Pez, you do not get those title defense points for Raw.
Damn. I was looking for a quick squash match.
Right?
Quick squash title defense. Damn.
Can I ask, are you going to ask about fantasy swaps after the shows?
Potentially.
Okay.
Depends on if I'm still here. But yeah, no. Right. Oh, you guys could. I have one left. I'm not going to use mine this week, so if I'm not here,
because you got a guy that's in question right now, Jacob, with your roster. So
I'm going to hold off. I think I have enough people on my roster that can still get me points. But I don't know the next match. I think this match, I think it might have exceeded my expectations a little bit. Jade Cargill defeating Naomi. I think both women. The code zone.
Just, I can't believe there was more than one. Oh my god, so stupid.
Right before the
what the fuck's going on?
It's hard to defend this company sometimes.
Yeah,
but Jade Cargill defeated Naomi. I thought Naomi looked really good. Jade made her comeback. There were a couple Jade showed her strength moments in this match. For a moment, I thought JPO was onto something picking Naomi. I was like, oh, maybe, but then Jade did end up picking up the victory. I thought this was a decent match. I think I just went into it with a little bit of lower expectations because, Jade as a singles was like, but I think she had the right opponent in Naomi, and I thought this was a really decent match. Yeah, the first women's match with no title on the line since JPO. What was it? The Cat versus
Terry Runnels.
Terry from 2000.
Only once, if you count the stick face match, which there's the bell, so you gotta. Yeah, the Cat and Terry.
But Richie, what did you think of Jade versus Naomi?
Yeah, I liked it. Actually, it's probably Jade's best match he's had. I think. I did it. I was very that powerbomb could have gone south. That was very scary, but it ended up being pretty decent. But I think Naomi's a good opponent to work with on the way up there. Interesting to see what they do with Jade now. If they're going to lean into a Bianca heel turn, she certainly wasn't. We'll get into it. She wasn't liked her on this show, but I could see it. Maybe leading that way. So you build it. Because they're clearly going to build her up as a title contender eventually. I feel like I like the way they're positioning her as opposed to and I think this will make her sort of get better in the long run, especially when AEW, when she basically it just felt like she was just almost squashing people all the time. Which that's cool for a while, but eventually you're gonna have to do more if you want to improve. So I actually really dug this match, and I think Naomi should get more opportunities. I want to see her get a title run eventually as well, but we'll see. I don't know if she's in that gatekeeper role, or that people a good hand to put people over. But but this match is good.
Yeah, Pez.
Yeah, it was solid. I was surprised at how much I got into it. Yeah, I thought Jade is the best probably she's looked in the ring, and you're with somebody that didn't know me. Like the only thing was like some of the spots looked a little clunky where Jade was clearly waiting for Naomi to like do something. And like there was one thing in the corner where she was like just standing there, just kind of didn't know what to do with herself while she was like waiting for Naomi to like jump off the top rope. Where it felt very choreographed at times. Not much like transition kind of stuff. But other than that, I thought it was still pretty solid. Yeah, maybe she works better in the tag capacity. I don't know. But yeah, for now, I think she'll get better. And yeah, working with people like Naomi and maybe eventually Bianca, we can talk about, would be, beneficial to her. But yeah, it was a solid match. It was better than I thought it would be.
JPO, do you agree?
I do. This surpassed my expectations personally here. Like I said, I'm a little iffy on Jade in the past. I said yes, she's got a fantastic look, but I felt she's been a little bit rushed in both companies here. But who knows if they've been going over this match for a little while here? I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the PC going over this. So it ended up being pretty good here. Good mid card match like this. This is a good mid card match that had a little bit of juice to it. So yeah.
Yes, for sure. Well, we don't know the aftermath of this yet because I believe both these women are on SmackDown, so we should know more about the future of Jade this Friday. Also, another guy we should know more about this Friday is your new United States champion, Jacob Fatu, defeating LA Knight. And no Solo Sokoa interference. In fact, Solo he came out with him, but then immediately, went to the back. So as soon as that was like, all right, well, there's going to be no shenanigans. Jacob Fatu is going to win clean. That was my only thing. When we did our predictions, was I could see potentially Solo, causing, not intentionally like causing Jacob to lose, but doing something. But as soon as I was like, nope, that's out. They're going to go with the guy who's got all the momentum, the guy who should go on a lengthy run with this title. And they had a decent match too. I thought, I thought they both looked great. I thought they had some good spots. Pez, that's your boy, Jacob Fatu. He's on your roster.
Yep.
I'm part of a
give me some points.
pretty big. Not to spoil anything. I've already added up the points. It was a pretty big mania for you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this was between the New Day, Jade, and now Jacob Fatu. You had the last three winners on your roster, and two of them were title matches, which come with bonuses for winning. Mm-hmm. So, what were your thoughts on the U.S. title match?
Yeah, this was the best match on the show up to that point, like for sure. And as we kind of expected, I mean, Fatu is a great worker. And yeah, you give him some time, he's going to put in a hell of a match because, it was still like LA Knight's putting up a fight, but he's like trying to take down Fatu. And Fatu's still kind of like, not that he's like no selling stuff, but he's like, they're still playing off that like he's kind of not human sort of a thing, Right. So LA Knight's throwing everything at him, but he like keeps getting up. That one spot where he went for the moonsault and LA Knight caught him and like the BFT was cool. that was great. Yeah. Kind of like his version of like, Randy Orton catching somebody in like an RKO or something like that. Like that was cool. That was a great spot. Yeah. And I mean, everything they did looked really crisp and clean. But Fatu still looked really strong. And yeah, I think he's going to have a fairly lengthy run with this thing. Cause I think it's one of those things where, I don't think he's going to be like a world heavyweight or WWE champion like this year, but man, by next year I could see him being like a world heavyweight champion or something, man. Like that he's going to be a hell of a star. Crowds behind it. Like he's still technically a heel, but he's like that heel that people like, right. Like to watch. And SmackDown as far as people that he could like feud with, mid card wise for the US title is like pretty stacked. Like he could feud with quite a few pretty cool people in that division. I mean, you even have like, Aleister Black coming in, things like that. Like that'd be a hell of a match. A lot of these guys. So yeah, I think he'll have a nice lengthy run here. And this is the best match on the show up to that point. Good stuff.
Yeah. JPO?
Oh yeah, no. Our boy won. We knew it was time to push unless there was shenanigans. We got no shenanigans. Got a pretty straightforward match. It was fun. Fatu doing some fun stuff. I enjoyed his like like a back senton while LA Knight was on the top rope, like type thing. I don't know if you remember, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, just he looks like a star. Again, they mentioned on pre-show and commentary, like kudos to him for not even being on the roster for a full year and having now a prime title winning moment. Good for him, man. This is good.
Yeah. Richie?
Yeah, I thought this match ruled. Yeah, I think. I mean, well, knew that LA Knight was good, but like he does surpass my expectations sometimes. Like he had a really good LA with match with Logan Paul like a few months ago. That I was like, I knew it was going to be good, but didn't think it was going to be that good. But yeah, and then Jacob Fatu does this match good. But yeah, it was basically a showcase for Jacob Fatu. But that BFT from the moon, so it looked great. But yeah, like I think Jacob Fatu is a guy you push to the moon. It's I know it's way too early to tell, but I'm just saying I could see Jacob Fatu winning like the Royal Rumble or something. I could. I could see him winning it if he's still United States champion. No, I don't know, but if he's not, he's a guy that you could get behind winning that Rumble, and I'd be fine with. I'd be fine with. So, yeah. No, this match is really good. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing how his run plays out.
Yeah. Spoilers for our Money in the Bank predictions. He's my pick. I think Jacob Fatu could be your Money in the Bank holder this year. I think that'd be a fun choice. As long as he doesn't cash in the same night and lose, just don't do that. And then yeah. The following match, El Grande Americano versus Rey, not Mysterio, because Rey Mysterio was unfortunately injured on SmackDown, but he was replaced by another Rey Phoenix. Is this the the quickest time from a main roster debut to a Mania match? Um, 2 weeks, and now you've got a Mania match. But I mean, if you're going to replace him, I mean, Rey Phoenix is not a bad choice. I thought these two. I wish they had more than just the 8 minutes they were given. I think if you give them, 12, I thought it would have been fantastic. I still thought it was really good. El Grande Americano picking up the win. I think as only Pez predicted.
I'm the only one at the end of the day who still had stuck with it because some of y'all changed, but I stuck with it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the finish was the same as the plan for Rey Mysterio. Like that was always the plan finish. But obviously, some of the spots they did, Rey Mysterio, unfortunately, was not doing those. I think Rey Phoenix is such a good in-ring worker. Some of the spots that he's able to come up with. I can't wait till he and Penta are on the same show and we can get some tag matches between them. I think it'll be fantastic. Or if they're both in the Money in the Bank match and we can see them go against each other as well as teaming up. But no, really good match for something that was, put together at the last minute. I thought the two worked really well together. El Grande getting the win by that medal diving headbutt. When was the last time you saw a match won with a diving headbutt? I can't remember, but
We
don't speak that name. But no, I'm glad that there was a replacement and the match just wasn't scrapped altogether. But yeah, JPO. Now that you just muted yourself, what did you think of El Grande Americano and Rey Phoenix?
I mean, we gave Fatu credit. How can we not give El Grande Americano credit? This dude is only weeks out on the main run of WWE. No, this was another fun one here. Happy to see Gable, well, supposedly, allegedly, get a singles match here. Rey Phoenix, again, another guy that I don't want to say lucked out because it's the detriment of Mysterio, but, probably did not think he was going to have a Mania moment. He's already got one under his belt for just a few weeks on the roster. And you know who doesn't like it? Dragon Lee. Because he's like, I was here first, you fucking master prick. But no, this is fun. I look forward to what we see in the future, the storytelling. We didn't really get any update on Raw, did we? Like, we were Grande-less. And
Yeah, well, I wonder if we'll get something on SmackDown. Hopefully.
ooh, okay.
Yeah. Richie.
I mean, Dragon Lee's got a brother they can scout from AEW if his contract runs out. Roosh. You know, they could do brother versus brother tag team match. But yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, yeah. I got telling you that Chad Gable and El Grande aren't the same person. El Grande's got a mask. Chad doesn't. You know, different people. But I thought El Grande looked good, great in this match. They both did. That I didn't realize he had a backwards 450 in him. Holy shit, that looked cool. I was like, wow. But yeah, no. Given that, like, obviously the last minute match change, this was still really good in the short amount of time they had. Yeah, I'm really starting to dig El Grande Americana as a character. And yeah, still think it's funny he comes from the Gulf of America.
He comes out to that there's like a Glory America song. It's like the typical like patriotic song, and it's like just a Mexican version of that, like a like a mariachi version of that. I thought that was funny. Like when I picked up on that for a second, I thought that was great.
And he has like when he's talking, he has Spanish dubbing.
Yeah,
there's a Spanish guy dubbing as well. That's funny. Yeah, I like the presentation. I think it's great. But yeah, so yeah, I I think it was a solid match given that given this wasn't the plan initially, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Pez.
I mean, it was 8 minutes, but it was a really fun 8 minutes, like really fast-paced, fun 8 minutes, for what it was. I mean, given the fact that it was probably, again, thrown together kind of last minute, probably, I don't know if Ray and him would have got a little bit more time, if it had been that. But it was still cool to see, obviously, Ray Phoenix be on a WrestleMania stage that quick. Him and Penta both getting WrestleMania matches essentially right after their debuts, which is pretty awesome. To be on the biggest stage, that's pretty great. Obviously good for my fantasy, picking up three matches pretty quickly in succession over the weekend for Ray Phoenix. So I think that was a good move. It was good. Grande with like that. Almost like a 630 backwards. That was nuts. That was insane. Yeah, there's some good spots here. And yeah, I don't mind the loaded mask gimmick. I think it's a decent little way for him to pick up stuff. Pick up little dirty wins here. So we'll see what happens to El Grande America. I can see El Grande having a Saturday Night's Main Event match, maybe in the future.
Maybe with Ray if he's
if Ray's back, they could run that back at a Saturday Night's Main Event or something. I think it'd be fine. In the future, and I would not be surprised if just for shits and giggles they put him on that AAA show. I think that would be pretty great, pretty hilarious. I mean, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing El Grande Americano versus Vikingo. That could be a pretty good match, I think.
We didn't even mention that was
that's what I mean, because like it did kind of interfere before the match started, and they could run that at that AAA show. That would be a pretty damn good match, I would think. Get those guys like 10-15 minutes, man. I'm down. So yeah.
Apparently, Jeremy Borash is going to help produce that show. Which is cool because I like Jeremy Borash a lot.
Cool. Your next match saw the women's championship on the line. Tiffany Stratton defending and keeping her title, defeating Charlotte Flair. I thought this was a decent match. I think some spots seemed like they were a little off, but I don't know if Charlotte was just like I don't want to put Tiffany over. I think
Charlotte was like
something was off,
sandbagging her a couple of times, man. Like I've ref matches where one guy in the match did not want to be in the ring with the other guy and like will sandbag him on suplexes and shit like that, and just not, cooperate a little bit. It seemed like Charlotte was not cooperating for some of these moves. I don't know. Really weird.
Yeah, which kind of hurt the match. Yeah, there were several times where I was like, can we get to the finish? I'm not enjoying this. I'm not hating it, but I'm not enjoying it.
Did we need this for 19 minutes?
19 minutes. Hell. Yeah. I thought it was fine. I'm happy they kept the title on Tiffany. I don't know where Charlotte goes from here. I mean, if this is a Backlash rematch or something. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see this again. But I mean, shout out to Charlotte for putting Tiffany over, but she didn't seem too happy about it. Richie, what did you think of the women's title match?
Yeah, I mean, you probably tell me. I feel like Charlotte's starting to have go away hate with me. I'm just like, I feel like she's just, I don't know, man. I'm starting to get the feeling she's a bit of a bitch. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It would be one thing if it was the Tiffany thing, just a isolated thing, but she's had weird instances with Becky and other people. I don't know. It's just, and like, I actually probably liked the match more than others did, but yeah, there were still like clunky spots here and there where they were sort of just kind of staring at each other, like looking, like. But yeah, it did feel like Charlotte's a veteran. She should be kind of, helping Tiffany as much as she can. She kind of was looking for ways to, she had to go over, but looking for ways to like not make her look the best, which is kind of shit. And at some point, obviously, Tiffy chipped her tooth. Not sure how that worked. The only like sort of cool spot, it was also scary, where like she did the like front Alabama slam when they were both on the turnbuckle. I was like, holy shit. But yeah, this could have got. I mean, I don't know. I thought that could have been better, but I didn't. I think I enjoyed it more than probably you guys did. Tiffany's still way over, and I think from the crowd, I think Charlotte's got to go away heat, man. Maybe she goes away for a while, comes back. I don't know. Yeah.
Pez?
Yeah, it was okay. Like, it wasn't a bad match. But yeah, something felt off and clunky about it. Like, a lot of the spots just seemed like they were kind of either lost or, Charlotte may not have been cooperating to make it look bad. I don't know what the hell was going on here. Maybe she was pissed that, she wasn't actually going over like I kind of predicted. And so maybe she tried to, I don't know if she tried to like sabotage it or what. Like, but it wasn't like terrible. It was just, it wasn't good. It's hard to describe. Like, right. I don't think it was like a great match. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the outcome as far as like that's what we need. I would rather see. I know I predicted Charlotte and it would have been fine for fantasy, but I'd rather have Tiffany go over because she's over with the crowd right now. Yeah, Charlotte kind of has go away heat with a lot of people. I don't think it's not good heel heat. It's like the bad heel heat that you shouldn't have. Like, I think Logan Paul has good heel heat. Like, Charlotte has bad heel heat. Where it's not good. And yeah, she needs to move on and feud with other people. I'd rather not see Charlotte tooling around if possible, but we'll see what happens. We'll maybe find out on in the next couple SmackDowns who she'll move on to. But yeah, this was a pretty forgettable match overall, and I don't think many people are going to be talking about this, especially after night 2, what we got with the women on night 2, which was immensely better.
Right.
She's got that Death Rider's heel heat.
Yeah, it's not that good heel heat. It's like get off my television heat, which is not good. Yeah.
JPO, did you enjoy the women's title match, or you kind of on the fence as well? What were your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. You're muted.
Those are my thoughts. A little bit of smiles.
Oh, okay, cool.
A little bit of frowns. Again, the build was just fine. If not, maybe less than fine. To be honest with you, I thought they did all right. But again, just I don't know. My heart was never into it, so it definitely wasn't next level for me here. Hopefully Charlotte either A earns her next shot or B, goes away for a little bit longer again. I don't know, but I'm happy Tiffy still got it though. Only a couple retains. She's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then finally, we get into our main event, the biggest triple threat match in WrestleMania history. I don't know. We got Orton, DiBiase, and Rhodes. I mean, that one.
And we got some other one they don't talk about. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you're right. Sasha, Becky, and
yeah.
And another one that we don't talk about except for when I draft it.
oh, Daniel Bryan, Batista, and Orton. Yeah, that one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you guys are all right. I don't know what I was thinking.
No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Jericho. We're talking about Jericho, Kurt Angle, and I can't actually. That doesn't work because it also has that guy in it.
You mean Sheamus, Drew, and Gunther? Yeah, that one was fantastic. But no, this one was also really good. I think this one lived up to the hype. And how could it not when you have three guys like Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns in the ring, and you got just a wonderful wrestling mind and Paul Heyman on the outside. I think everyone got their spots, everyone got their moment. I'm happy that Punk got his main event. Not only did he get his main event, but he also got a live performance to the ring, Living Color, performing Cult of Personality.
They're still awesome. They're still awesome. Living Color.
Loved seeing Paul Heyman come out with CM Punk. I think that was the right choice. Seeing him do the clobbering time and using Heyman's watch again was cool. I think the match was fantastic. I think everybody got their spots. Everybody got their time. Punk and Rollins, Punk and Reigns, Rollins and Reigns. It happened. I thought maybe Heyman was just going to turn on Punk and keep aligning with the tribal chief. But I think it's time for Heyman to move on. I think the tribal chief, the Wiseman, I think it's kind of run its course. Maybe we revisit it somewhere down the line. But I think this is the right time to move on. Because not only did he turn on Punk, but for the second time, this isn't the first time he's turned on Punk.
Yeah,
come on, Punk, you should have saw this coming. But yeah, no, he did turn on Reigns. You get a low blow, you get a low blow, and just when we thought he was gonna, return the favor to Seth with the chair, yeah, that's when he got the low blow. And
a lot of low blows in both main events.
Yeah,
in both main events. Maybe an over reliance on low blows lately in main events.
Yeah, interesting to know. Yeah, Seth did pin Roman to get the victory, which I think is really cool. Roman has never been able to defeat Seth. He retained his title during his reign, but it was a DQ, so that's the only reason he kept his title. Seth is actually, in the record book as the winner of that match. So Roman is good. One day he's going to get his win over Seth, and it's going to be glorious. How soon that is, it remains to be seen. But I love this match. I thought it was the better main event. I thought the story told was fantastic. I loved the aftermath too, which we can get to in just a little bit. But Pez, what did you think of night one's main event?
No, this one kind of saved the whole night because it was a case of, and we'll get to it when we talk about overall WrestleMania. But it was a case of like night one had a great main event and kind of a mediocre undercard, and then night two had a great undercard and a mediocre main event.
Right.
It was kind of polar opposites for what it was. But yeah, I mean, this really showed again the star power in the match. That story is key. Story can really make match is really something special. Crowd was invested, in these guys getting in there. I think everybody looked strong in the match. I mean, everybody got, their strong points in, their strong spots. But it was just really good work rate as well. Like it was never boring. These guys, had the intensity, for the whole thing. Good storytelling within the match. I mean, you got the stuff where they went to the outside and tried to do like a Shield callback where Seth was like, hey, let's, powerbomb Punk and do the Shield thing. And they kind of did it. But then like Roman was like, "No, I'm just gonna powerbomb you too. Get out of here, do it myself." It was a nice tease of like, almost doing the Shield thing and callbacks, throughout the night of the Shield stuff too. I almost thought for a second Seth might have come out to the Shield music. Like it was very. I thought he might have for a second because remember he came out first and then they like turned the lights off and they like kind of started over and then he had like a different outfit on. Like I thought maybe he was gonna they were gonna kick the Shield music on. Like that would have been interesting.
I don't know if you caught it, but like when Seth was trying to convince Roman, he dropped John Moxley's name.
Yeah, he's like, or did he say Mox or he said Mox. Yeah,
he said Mox.
Yeah. He didn't. I think he probably meant to say Dean, but he said Box. But yeah. So I mean, again, good storytelling calls there. And yeah, it came down to what I said would probably happen when you had the Heyman conundrum, which was somebody's going to call for a chair or something, and like Heyman's not going to know what to do, and that's pretty much like what happened. Is like both guys are there. Who do I pass the chair to? And then right after that, I was like, okay, but why is Heyman getting in the ring now? Okay, something's definitely going to happen now, because it was like, why does he need to be in the ring, and why is he getting in there? And then of course that's when we got the one, and then the other one, and again a nice callback to like, oh, now Seth is on the ropes, and we'll do the Shield, turn spot, but it's a different type of turn. That's great stuff, and I like that Seth never turned around either. He just like knew what happened because he had orchestrated this, kind of behind the scenes and whatnot. Again, this is good drama. It's good storytelling. When pro wrestling is like great as far as storytelling, it's like some of the best stuff ever. It's very entertaining, edge of your seat kind of stuff. And this is what they do best with like their camera angles and, having, the preparedness for that. So yeah, I mean, I didn't know if the Paul Heyman stuff with Seth was going to work necessarily, but I think we've already seen even in the Raw aftermath, as we'll talk about, Jacob, like it's pretty much working already. Like I'm down with it. So they've made it work. So we'll talk about it. But a new like dangerous alliance type of thing, I'm down. Yeah. So like let's roll with this. Like I'm down for Heyman to be like a faction manager again. Like that's pretty cool. Right. I mean, I know he kind of was like kind of for the Bloodline, but not really. He's just kind of like a background guy, but like actually be like actually orchestrate like a faction, and kind of run things like a dangerous alliance.
Really wasn't just Roman Reigns' guy. It was and who happened to be in a faction. Right?
Yeah, kind of. It was different. It wasn't quite the same thing, but like actually have the guy who's like kind of running things. And I think Braun Breakers we'll talk about is going to benefit from that a lot. Because he's not the best talker either, as we've kind of seen in some of his promos. Like he needs to work it, but hey, that's fine. Have somebody like Heyman who can hype him up and be the great talker, and like that works. So yeah, I'm fine with that. So yeah, great main event. It delivered on all the drama and yeah, all the kind of it felt like a WrestleMania main event, and it felt like really important. And things were progressed, things were teased for later. I like the shot of Punk and Roman at the end, just kind of like sitting there, just kind of staring off into the void, both like taken aback by what had happened, and just kind of reflecting on it like it works. And again, they played into that on Raw a little bit as well on the night after. So yeah, this is a success all around. It was a really good one that this is out of any matches I would go back and watch for the first night. This would be one I would go back and watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Really good stuff. So yeah, I would do that.
Yeah. JPO.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on the main event?
Oh, I'm here. But I was muted and everything.
I got you.
Both triple threats were really good. Spoilers for we're about to go for the next one. No, I dug it, man. I think these guys have star powers, storytelling powers. Yeah, maybe a lot of people called the ending, but I had a lot of fun getting there, and another journey that we're just now starting. So yeah, I was down for it.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, this match ruled. Yeah, it was great. But yeah, not only a great match, just great storytelling around. I think everything sort of flowing from the Bloodline storyline to this, and has only had only a little bit of hiccups along the way. But yeah, for the most part, it's been very, very good. And yeah, last new wrinkle with Seth going with Paul Heyman. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I think that. I'm confident. Because they've tried to have pair Paul Heyman with other people and just never fully went with it. Like Curtis Axel and Cesaro, right back to an extent. But like, yeah, like I feel like I think Triple H probably more than Vince knows like what Paul Heyman can bring. You know, the value he can have by managing, a faction or managing people in general and sort of lifting them up. So, no, I'm definitely looking forward to the weeks, months to come, and the fallout from this. So yeah, and I think the match was fantastic. The entrances were shorter than we thought were going to be. I don't know how long the entrances were at the end of the day, but like, I don't think Living Colour didn't play the whole song, did they?
No, but it was still from opening thing to bell was still 16:49. So, yeah, it was still like.
So I said 15. I think I said 15. I don't remember.
JPO said 15, but we'll get to the predictions later.
Oh yeah, no, fair enough. But this match ruled, and yeah, and then I'm like, but at the end of the day, I'm like, oh fucking, not only I went for Roman Reigns, and he got fucking pinned. I'm an idiot. I want to do fucking because I was doing all right up until that point. I'm like, fucking.
Yeah, but yeah, we ended night one on a high note, and we continued the momentum right into night two because we kicked off with a bang with a triple threat for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky defeating Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. I know we were all kind of split on this one. I thought it would be much, similar to a night one thing where Rhea is, over with the crowd. But you know what? So is Io. I think Io is and she might, I'm not going to say just as over, but I think she's getting there, especially after her match last night as well. I think she's just like one of the best in-ring workers that WWE has currently. And yeah, when you have three of the best women's wrestlers on your roster in one match, I think you're guaranteed to have a banger, and that's exactly what this was. I think everybody got their spots in. I don't think anybody looked weak coming out of this. I think Io. I would love to see her hold this title for a while now. I think we might be gearing towards an Io and Rhea rematch down the line with no shenanigans, no Bianca Belair involvement, just the two of them. Find out who the better woman is. But no, I thought this was a fantastic way to kick off night two. And even though I was wrong in my prediction of Rhea winning, I'm not upset at it because I do really enjoy Io as a worker. So I love the decision to kick off night two with this. JPO, what about you? What do you think?
For sure, I gotta agree with you 100% on whatever you just said.
Because I'm correct. I am correct.
He's correct all the time, except for his predictions.
Points,
He's always correct.
For when I predicted Rhea to win.
Yeah,
I was not correct in that. Yes. Thanks for pointing that out again, Pez.
Well, I've got him written next to me. I gotta keep track of this stuff, as we all.
I went perfect once, and I don't think it's ever going to happen again.
Yeah.
But Richie, what did you think of night two's opening?
Yeah, no, it was really good. All these three have got great chemistry. Yeah, I think the right person went over. I think you need to sort of establish that, that Io is right up there as because I think Rhea and Bianca have been established as the top women in the company for a while. I think Io is sort of also on the cusp, she's champion. So I think but now I think she's sort of.
I was just doing the Io. I was just
Io
saying
thing.
Io.
But I think she's proved that not only at WrestleMania, but on Raw. When we'll get to Raw, my only gripe is I feel like Raw should be for call-ups. I'm like, she definitely not gonna get called up. She's champion. But anyway, I'm like, damn it. But still, it was a really good match, and I hopefully she has a pretty good title reign because I don't know, I don't expect Rhea to get it back anytime soon necessarily. Like she'll still always be in that picture because she's so over, but yeah, I thought it did they did a really good job, and it was just a good way to kick off the show.
Yeah, Pez.
Yeah, this match will probably go down as one of the best WrestleMania openers ever. Like if you had to rank them, it'll be right up there with, I would say like maybe as good as like Bret Owen, but like at least in that sort of top 3, top 5 like conversation, overall. Because this was great. This was excellent. Just really good sequences throughout the whole thing. There was like some sequence where like Io went off the top with like a moonsault and got hit in the face with like the feet on the way down, which looked brutal, and then like Bianca caught her in like a KOD, and then Rhea did something. Like there was a sequence where it was just like bing bang boom. Like it was really cool. Like they put a lot of thought into everything. There's some good just kind of triple team sort of spots, everybody going down with something. The crowd got super into it. Again, good storytelling with them still kind of ignoring Io to a degree, like in the beginning, but then obviously not, at the end and everything, and her stealing, the victory, doing like the moonsault to break up the pin, and then escaping with it and whatnot. So again, good storytelling within, and the crowd got super into everything. Bianca got booed, as people thought, she's starting to get booed. Like I'm smelling a heel, run for Bianca, and I think it could benefit her a little bit, to lean into it. Maybe with Naomi, I think that could really work. Kind of freshen up the character a little bit, and crowd's already kind of with that. And we'll talk about it. It's kind of like a two sort of maybe double turns on night 2, like with the crowd, because the crowd was booing Bianca here and really cheering somebody else here very shortly, and kind of naturally turning somebody maybe babyface. So we'll talk about that when we get to it in a minute.
See.
But yeah, I mean, it was kind of interesting. Maybe that's just the crowd. I don't know. Maybe it'll be different when we get to like Kansas City, and it's back to normal. The normal, WWE fans. But yeah, no, this is a great match and a great way to open the show. And yeah, they killed it. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, and then now the aftermath on Raw when Io came out, and then Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah.
I get not wanting a definitive finish in that, but there's no reason that your main champ on Raw can't beat your main champ from NXT. I mean, there's a reason. It's not really developmental anymore, but it is kind of that third brand. Like you're still waiting to be called up to Raw or SmackDown, so there's no reason where it couldn't have ended in a definitive finish, and then Roxanne Perez can come out afterwards and still do the same stuff. I really wish that match had a definitive finish because I thought it was fantastic. I think it absolutely earned I think it got a This Is Awesome chant. I think it absolutely deserved it. I think.
And again, you could beat people if they have great matches. Like
Exactly.
It's not if the match gets over, it's like somebody can get pinned. Like I've always said that, like you're not burying somebody if somebody eats a pinfall.
Right.
If the match is great and it's back and forth, and the crowd's into it. Like if the match gets, I mean, not everybody agrees with Cornette all the time, but get the match over, and everybody within the match will get over. Like get the match over, and it'll be fine. And people won't remember who got pinned; they'll just remember a great match between these two people. Like it's totally fine.
Well, as a recent example, I don't mind that. Like Josh Alexander lost his debut match in AEW because he had a great match with Hangman Page, and that's you're going similar thing on page. So yeah, it's like Josh Alexander will get his time shown. So yeah, but he still got.
Well, Ospreay and Kevin Knight had a great match, and Kevin Knight lost, and he still got over. It was a great match, like he went toe for toe, like with Will Ospreay, is still good. Like you can have these, you can have Will Ospreay beat Takeshita, in a great match on Dynamite, in this tournament, and Takeshita's still over. He's not buried. You know what I mean? People still buy him as a great wrestler. Like it's not a big thing. But speaking of that briefly, Jacob, I think Stephanie Vaquer may be on the main roster sooner rather than later, like in the next couple of months. Like she is like really over. She's a really cool character. All of her stuff is already over. Yeah, I watched that Stand and Deliver. Yeah, 4-way, that was really good. And yeah, like NXT has a hell of a stacked roster to where even if they lost a a Stephanie or like a Jordan Grace or something. They still got a bunch of
There's
women
still
that
got,
are.
there's still got Julia. There's still got, for the time being, Roxanne Perez. I don't know how long she's
There's
going to
still
be
a ton of people on that roster and a whole bunch of they
The
push
women's division NXT.
women's division is stacked, and they push the women's division very, very hard on NXT. Like a lot of times, their women's matches are the main events, even just on the weekly TV shows. So I mean, like and the crowd knows that. So yeah, you could lose, a Viker or a Jordan Grace, later this year, and they'd still be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, they fit right in. Yeah, it's great women's division all around right now. So
Yeah, I mean, I think they mentioned it. I think there were more women on Stand and Deliver than there were men.
yeah.
Yeah, and even with this, Evolution show coming.
That's what I mean with this Evolution show. I could see a mix of like NXT and main roster women on that show. As far as like you could do some crossover matches, between the two promotions, or you could just do a straight NXT showcase or straight Raw. I mean, you could do like a Rhea and Bianca on that show, and that's fine. But you could also have like Jordan Grace face Io Sky or something. You could have like different cross matches as well. You could have Jade Cargill face somebody from NXT, whatever. You can mix them and mix and match, and I think it'd be really cool. Because there's plenty of talent to go around as far as that goes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Our second match, I think we were all surprised to see this go on second. I think we were, or at least Pez and I, we were watching together, and we thought maybe you go AJ and Logan here. But no, we got the Sin City Street Fight, Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Yeah, Damian Priest being led to the ring by the lead guitarist?
Slayer, Kerry.
Slayer.
Kerry King, I think his name. From Slayer. I got excited for a second because I saw Kerry first, and I was like, "Oh, Slayer's here." I was like, "That's awesome," because they started with a guitar player, but it was just Kerry, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Oh, you got
it's still pretty cool.
You got a quarter of Slayer, okay?"
But, yeah. But yeah, no, Drew McIntyre picking up the victory here. I thought this was a great street fight. I thought they used the stipulation very well. I think we've become smart as wrestling fans because every time a table is introduced, it's like, all right, well, we know that's not going to be the finish because that table's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Then that table gets used, but there's still that table that hasn't been used yet, and it's out, so that table's got to get used. Then once all those tables were used, all right, well, what's the finish going to be? Where's the finish at? And I love the finish of this match, the Claymore into the chair. I thought this match was hard hitting. Yeah, a good Haas fight, meat as some people like to say. I would love to see it. I would love to see them run it back. I know I don't know if I'm alone in that. I think these two work extremely well together. I would love to see them not obviously at the next pay-per-view, but like if they revisit this feud, or even if they just have a TV match at some point, I would love that. I think these two work really well together. So Richie, what did you think of the street fight?
Oh yeah, I really liked it. It's actually better than I thought it was, because when I first heard that Rollins that they're going to work each other at Mania, I was like, really? I feel like we've seen this. I think obviously the street fight built a bit of it more intrigue, and then they had great chemistry. I take away from this match too. Drew really likes to take back bumps off stairs. Good go. He's done it a few times now. He had this big ass bruise on his back as well. Just like, man, it's gonna hurt in the morning. But yeah, the match itself was really good, and I think the right guy won. I think I do feel like you need to push Drew here. I think he would actually. I know he just went to SmackDown, but if he moved over back to Raw, that'd be kind of cool, and he'd be a decent an opponent for Jey. So.
I think Drew, if he got to Raw, would fit right in with this Paul Heyman alliance.
Yeah,
actually, because he has a beef with everybody that they're kind of going after as well, and he still does. And I think he would fit right in with sort of Rollins's, heat with everybody and shit like that. So I think that could work because I don't know if they're doing this draft or not or when the hell this is happening. They keep dancing around it, but mix up the rosters a little bit.
Yeah, so I thought this match was a lot of fun, back and forth, and crowd really got into it, all night, by the way, both nights, though, the adopting the, it used to just be for Tony Storm, Tony Storm, Tony Storm, but they'll be doing it for like all night. They're doing it for other wrestlers that will get you like, hey, dirty dog, but they're not doing it for like Drew McIntyre, but yeah, this match was really cool. I enjoyed it more than I thought it would. So yeah.
Pez?
No, it's a fun little kind of plunder street fight. It was a different change of pace from the opener, and it worked. But I like a good Haas fight, and I figured these guys would beat the hell out of each other, and they did. A lot more stuff with the stairs than I thought it would be. They really like to use the stairs, throwing them all over the place. Different slams and whatnot on top of the stairs. The future shock on the stairs looked pretty brutal when he hit that. But yeah, like you said, you can't set up two tables on the outside and then finish the match before those two tables get broken. And then Damien went through them, and then they kind of went to the finish. Yeah, I like the Claymore into the corner chair. Yeah, that worked pretty well for a finish. I dug it. I think Drew kind of needed the win. I think Damien will be okay. Damien could feud with Fatu for that damn United States title. That's a hell of a that's a mean, scary guy match that I'm fine with as well. Give me that. I'm fine with that. They're both on SmackDown. I'm all right with that. And I can see Drew kind of tooling back around. Maybe dancing around the world title picture again. So, we'll see what happens here. But yeah, I think the right guy won here, and it was a good fight.
Yeah.
there.
JPO, are you?
Might step away for a second, but it's all good.
So all right. Well, we'll move on to the IC match. Yes, the 4-way between Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, Penta, and your champion Braun Breaker. Well, your champion going in because your champion coming out, as I think all of us predicted. Dirty Dom picking up the win, and the crowd was super into Dom. He was kind of over with the crowd. So much so that after the match he ran back and posed on the ring. I think Finn and the referee were all like, what's going on here? But no, I think he deserved it. I think he's been doing some incredible work over the last year. Super good heel. I would love to see him stay a heel, but if he does turn into this baby face, hate that either. I think he's definitely improved. And as far as the match goes, I thought this was a really fun match. I think it showcased all four guys really well. Dom pinning Finn. I think we kind of all saw that coming. Braun doesn't look weak losing his title. Penta, he didn't get pinned either. So I dug it. I thought this was fantastic. Richie, what are your thoughts on the 4-way?
I thought this was really good. Great. Again, great chemistry between the four. Braun's a freak, as we know. That spear on Carlito. Holy shit, man. Poor Carlito, he's just been taking a...
I just wanted to say fatality after he hit it. I'm like, fatality. It's ridiculous.
I think during this match, too, there's that... girl in the barrier fell over somehow, and little did she know it's not the first time she'd fall over. She was, I think, it's the same girl that Austin hit with the 18.
And she fell over.
This was that's really good, and it sort of I like the kind of back and forth there because when I like it sets up like what's going to happen with Finn and Dominic and what's going on there. This is really good, and I think be interesting what happens, and then obviously on Raw we saw JD McDonough as well coming back, so this was good.
Yeah, much to the surprise of Finn, it looked like. It didn't seem like he was expecting JD to be back, but Dominic. Just to he defended against Penta the following night, and JD came in, interfered. Um, Dominic ended up retaining against Penta. I was like, are they also going to be transitional? Is he also going to be a transitional champion? Much like somebody else on the card, which kind of irritates me. I'm okay. It's fine. But Pez, what did you think of the 4-way?
No, this 4-way was fun, and everybody again had great spots. Penta's doing dives, and he's hitting his destroyers, and you got a Penta driver at one point on a Finn, but everybody's breaking everything up. Obviously, Braun obviously still looked like a monster. Him jumping from the one table to the other, spearing Carlito was great. That was a big pop. Looked good for him. And again, he didn't get pinned, so he loses the title. But it's fine. It's for a reason, as we saw on Raw. Like he doesn't have an IC title now, but it's a sacrifice so that he can now be in kind of the main event scene, which I'm totally fine with, because he's ready. He's got the star power. He's I think he's over with the crowd. Like he's ready for that next level, and I'm fine with that. There's plenty of people who can feud for the IC title, in that kind of mid card. I mean, we just got Rusev back. I could see him, tooling around that as well. But it was good stuff overall. Yeah, Dom's turn was interesting because he hasn't done anything different. It's not like they booked him to really be a face. He's just, naturally kind of getting over, as a good guy now. So, we'll see if I think their idea was to maybe turn Finn face to feud with, to be the one guy feuding against the Judgment Day. But I don't know. He might still be the heel, and people might be cheering on Dom. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to go the way they think it will be. People might still be behind him. So. Yeah, they could run that match at some point, obviously 1-on-1, or keep having Dom feuding with people like Penta. There's still possibilities there. So, this was a really fun 4-way, and it was a cool moment. Dom went in and he hit like the 619 crowd pop for that, and all those stuff. Crowd pop big for it, so it was a cool moment.
JPO, are you back with us yet?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
All right, cool. What did you, real quick, because you didn't touch on.
Yeah, just the street fight and then the IC we're on.
Yeah.
You didn't touch on any of those?
It was fun. Good birthplace of air. Did I say that right? No, fuck, you know what I mean. Because, a nice street fight to break kind of the monotony of just, normal matches, which is cool. IC, fun 4-way. They hit their shit. Everyone looked good. Different moments for everyone here. Moments where I'm like, maybe fuck it, they'll give it a Penta. Maybe Finn will finally get a fucking shot. We all kind of called it, and we dug it too. Dominic is over like Rover, by the way, during Mania weekend.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was irritated the following night. I was like, why isn't Braun getting his rematch? And then later I was like, oh, that's why. I need to be patient. Because that is much cooler than getting a rematch.
I think
not fantasy-wise, but
people realizing that Dom was just kind of being entertaining, with his, his love for tendies and nugs, and just being entertaining, being kind of generally charismatic dude. And I don't know, I'm not exactly, I can't point to one reason why life he'd be insanely over, but I'm happy for him. But yeah.
Yeah. And our following match was the Open Challenge. Randy Orton, who was his opponent going to be? Say his name and he appears.
There he is.
Joe Hendry. I don't think none of us called that. We were all thinking it was going to be a return. Maybe somebody already on the roster. I know some people were thinking Nick Aldis himself. But no, Joe Hendry, he answers the Open Challenge and gets a pretty nice pop. Not much of a match. It was just over 3 minutes. It wasn't much of a match, but it was a cool moment to see Joe Hendry on the WrestleMania stage. And getting beat by Randy Orton in 3 minutes. Sure, he is the world champion. I can see why some people would complain about that, but it's still, Randy Orton at WrestleMania, one of the biggest names in WWE history. So
Hey, you could chalk it up to WrestleMania nerves on Joe.
Yeah,
Hendry's
there you
part.
go. Yeah,
Randy Orton, they hyped up this is his 20th WrestleMania. He's not phased by 60,000
right.
people in the stadium. He's ready to go. And so, Joe Hendry got caught up in the moment. Jacob playing to the crowd, doing
Exactly.
those pops, and got caught with an RKO. It is
Yeah,
what it is.
exactly. It was an RKO out of nowhere. It's not like he,
Yeah.
So, do I wish they maybe got a few more minutes just to showcase Joe Hendry a little bit more? Sure. Am I still happy with the moment and am I pleased with what happened? Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Yeah, I know, Pez. You and I, we watched this together, and we did not see this coming. So yeah, I'm kind of glad it wasn't a return, especially if this was the match we were gonna get. But yeah, what did you think of this? Yeah, what did you think of Joe Hendry appearing at Mania?
Yeah, it was a cool moment. Yeah, I mean, it was nice that the crowd knew who he was. He got the big pop. Like when his music started, people were clapping along, waving their hands. It's fun. It had to be cool for him. I mean, it's not a burial, guys. He's the TNA champion. People knew who he was at WrestleMania. He gets a huge pop in front of 60,000 people in a stadium. It's probably the biggest crowd Hendry's ever worked. I would venture to say. And he's out there. He's over. The character's over. Anybody who doesn't know Joe Hendry knows who he is now. So they might go, hey, oh shit. And like we said, there's been former TNA champions who competed at WrestleMania. This is a big deal. You had your current TNA heavyweight champion wrestling Randy Orton on WrestleMania. That's a big deal. It's not a burial. They just showcased the TNA champion on the big. He not only was on WrestleMania, but he was in the Royal Rumble as well. Hendry will be on the main roster, in WWE, as soon as his time in TNA is done. He will be there. So this is a big showcase. It's a big deal for him. You tell me. Hendry didn't know he was probably going to get, taken down in 3 or 4 minutes and did it anyways. Anybody would do that. Anybody, for that WrestleMania spot. It was. Yeah, I think this was a success.
How much is a WrestleMania payday?
That's what I mean. Come on, you kidding me? He's having the time of his life. So I mean, he still got the essence of the character over and whatnot, and it was cool. And yeah, Orton's the more experienced WWE legend. He's gonna win. Yeah. So it is what it is. It's fine, and Hendry will be fine. So I'm not worried about that. And yeah, we got a great new kind of meme that I've already seen on the internet out of stuff. Where people, you put stuff. People will have the clip, but they'll put stuff over people's faces or whatever. And it'll be I think I saw one was that one annoying guy on Monday morning at the office, and then Randy Orton comes to RKO's him out of nowhere. Like that. I've already seen people making memes out of it, so it's fun. So this is great. I thought this was a good showcase for him, and yeah, Orton's still having fun. So yeah, it was totally fine. Again, break up the show a little bit, something a little fun right here. A nice little surprise, and then we get back to business. So it's all good.
Yeah. JPO?
Yeah, I definitely will argue this should have been at least a couple of minutes longer. But no, I mean, as far as the burial, no. I've always thought they're not giving you a Mania moment just to bury you. No, that's fucking dumb. That's silly. That's still a pretty big coup. The fact that the TNA World Champion competed at Mania, that's nuts. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I thought it was a fun pop. It's a fun moment here. I even enjoy Orton getting to do the little turnaround, at the end himself, stealing the gimmick too, which was fun. So, another little nice little break of pace from the rest of it here. This didn't need to be. I'm not trying to argue this should have been a 10, 15-minute match because it is very much face and face. I just wish it was a little bit more than 3. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Richie?
Yeah. Pretty much same. I think it should have been a couple minutes longer, but yeah, this is one of those things where, people, it's like the internet. People, it's either the worst thing ever, so they'll use language like burial or and I don't know, and you're not allowed to like things because otherwise you're defending a count. I hate that fucking discourse. There's not a burial. He's not a contracted guy, and he's the biggest star TNA's produced in fucking years. He got a huge WrestleMania payday, got wrestled one of the biggest stars in the history of professional wrestling on the grand stage. It wouldn't shock me if they called it on the some of it could call it on the fly too. They've done that where even the opponent doesn't know. I don't know. I don't think so, but it wouldn't shock me. Randy Orton did a kind of cute interview with Kathy Kelly later where he looks like he's having the time of his life as well. So I like this kind of optimistic Randy Orton as well. So yeah, he looked like he had fun, and it was cool that he went to the Rock Austin thing. He patted him on the after giving him RKO, second RKO, he kind of patted him on the stomach. Like, hey, that was fun. So what, they had fun. Start whinging about the ramifications. It's not a burial. He's not a contacted guy. He's not going to win or nearly beat him.
Yeah, not only did he get one RKO out of nowhere, he got 2 RKOs out of nowhere. But cool Mania moment. I'm sure we'll see more Mania moments for Joe Hendry in the future. How many more Mania moments do we have for AJ Styles, though? I don't know. But yeah, our next match was AJ Styles versus Logan Paul, and Logan Paul getting the victory after Jeff tried to get involved, and then Karrion Kross came out and stopped that from happening. Tried to get Allen to use the brass knucks instead, but he refused. And then Logan hits the pulverizer to pick up the victory. I thought this was a decent match. I thought these two worked really well together. I thought they had some spots. This is one where I thought maybe a couple minutes could have been shaved off. I think if you give these guys, a solid 15, I think you have a really, really good match. I still enjoyed what we got. But yeah, maybe just shave off just a little bit. I think you have a fantastic match. Obviously, I love it for fantasy wise, but I would have loved to see AJ Styles pick up the victory and get one more WrestleMania moment. What Logan Paul does next, it's hard to tell how often he's going to show up. He's another one. Yeah, with him and now Ray, just to speak fantasy wise real quick, between him and then Ray, what's the extent of his injury? It's I don't know who I want to because there's people I'm looking at to pick up, and I got to drop somebody though. Do I drop somebody who maybe only wrestles once a month? I don't know. So yeah, I kept him around this long. We'll see, but yeah, good pickup for JPO because he did pick up AJ Styles after Owens went down, and even though he didn't get the victory, he still got those WrestleMania participation points because pay-per-views. You do get the matches are worth 10 points, so it does double in points. So, JP, unfortunately, your boy did lose, but what did you think of the match overall?
No, I did like it. I feel like there's a couple things that I don't just stop me from getting to that next level. There's definitely moments in this, but I don't know. Maybe I had too much of a high expectations. I thought their styles would match super well together. So it's not a great match for me, but it's a good match for me.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, I had a bit of a clash with someone else on a wrestling thing where I was being negative. I'm like, no, bitch, this match is fine. this match I thought it was alright, but yeah, I can see why maybe you want a bit more from it. I thought it was good. I think the addition of Karrion Kross is pretty good. You can tell the crowd didn't want AJ to punch him because Kross is from Vegas. But I thought the match was good. His comments about it on Raw was funny. He's like, why did you cheat to win? Basically, he's like, what are you talking about? I won. I don't know. I thought it was just a fun, sarcastic interview. But yeah, I thought the match was good. Yeah, could have been better. Yeah, but I had fun. And shout out to Pat McAfee for calling it the buckshot lariat, even though Michael Cole tried not to. Even though Michael Cole was trying not to say that, and then I'm like, oh yeah, and I even joked to my friend, like, they're not going to call it the buckshot lariat, and Pat McAfee just did. I'm like, oh, fair enough.
That slingshot, clothesline,
slingshot lariat.
Yeah. Pez, what do you think of?
No, it was a good match. I did shout out Logan's entrance with like all his own personal drones and shit was kind of cool. Like all the different camera angles was all right for what it is. I like his humble music, by the way. I think it works for him. The humble like rap song. Yeah, I think that's actually fits for him. But yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like you'd think these guys would just click and have a pretty banger match, and they had a good match. It wasn't bad at all. Like everything they did was good, but something about it just didn't quite get to that next gear, and really click with the audience, and the audience was not as into it as I kind of thought they would be. So it was good, but kind of in the grander scheme of the rest of the night, one of the more forgettable matches, even though it wasn't bad. It was just I think by the end of the night, people kind of forgot about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what the follow-up is with, AJ Styles and Karrion Kross. Maybe this could lead to something between those two. Maybe that's a Saturday night's main event match or something. Because there's a sign in the crowd on Monday that said push Karrion. So, WWE listens to their fans.
He had a promo on Sam Roberts' podcast. Just go listen. I won't go all into it, but go listen to it. It's really good. And he swears, he goes, go fuck you. He tells Triple H to go fuck himself. And he calls himself Killer Cross. So he might be Killer Cross.
Yeah, and I think WWE either uploaded it or commented or reposted it or something. So like obviously
definitely a work
no like bad blood between.
Yeah, they're fine with it being like a work shoot because they promoted it. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So okay. And then with two more matches, our next match saw the women's tag team championships on the line, not between Lyra Valkyria and Bayley taking on the Judgment Day. I'm just going to call them the Judgment Day. But Lyra Valkyria and a returning Becky Lynch. I think we all kind of predicted that and saw that coming. And then, I thought this was fine. I thought, cool, Becky's back. Lyra, I didn't know if they were gonna, book her as a double champ with Bayley, but when Becky came back, I was like, I wish I could change my prediction because I definitely see these two picking up the belts, and they did. And it was a fine match. It's cool to see Becky back. Obviously, fantasy wise, I really enjoy it. For a moment, anyway. We'll talk about the aftermath in just a moment. But yeah, no, it was a fine match. Again, it was just under 9 minutes, so cool. Richie?
Yeah, I don't have much more to add. It was cool moment. Kind of potentially undone by what's happening in Raw, but I guess it kind of everything makes sense in context, maybe given everything. But like it was a fun moment match. I don't know. It was weird. I think the crowd were happy to see Becky back, but then like you could tell like during the match they might have been preserving their energy for the main event which is coming out because they weren't as like hot for Becky as they would be. They definitely were happy to see her back, but they were kind of they were sort of still a bit subdued as well. So, but yeah, the match it was cool moment, fine, but nothing bigger than that.
Yeah, Pez?
Yeah, it was fine. It was just, the Becky return was kind of the biggest thing, to come out of it. But yeah, I think it was a little, looking back on it now that the Raw stuff is over as well, maybe a little overly convoluted to have them win it and then lose it again the next time on Raw and then do the turn. Like, a little too rushed, within 24 hours, kind of the whole story and whatnot. But it's fine because I think we all had Liv and Raquel to just retain, and it's like they almost did because they just won it back the next night. So it's like, all right, that's okay, fine. I mean, not bad overall, but this is mainly just to showcase the fact that like Becky's back and she's probably just going to be full on heel, which is fine. They could use another decent heel. Yeah.
I'm wondering if that heel turn means she's going to be joining up with her husband Seth. JPO, is that something you think could be a possibility? What did you think of the tag title stuff?
I feel bad for Bayley. But yeah, no. Supposedly she knew well ahead in advance. This wasn't like literally the day of. Oh, by the way, um, but no, I mean it was fine. Yeah, I wasn't surprised that this was actually a very quick run. I thought maybe Backlash or whatever the next show is, but this was very much done just for the moment. And like, Becky will get a pop, cool, and now let's undo it because they have done that in the past with mid card titles. You know what I mean? Where it's like just
Right.
done for the moment.
Cody and Jey
Kind of thing.
Uso.
Matt Cardona, sadly, So
Yeah.
match is fine. You know what I mean? Like again, I love Becky, but like there wasn't really much story or oomph to it, and also now that the Raw knowledge is also in there, it's kind of like all right. I'm glad it's back on Judgment Day because now that's kind of what my initial thought was that all Judgment Day was going to look strong with 3 titles, and now they do, and Curly's Apple, 3 titles in his apple.
Curly's Apple, yeah. Yeah. Now that JD's back, maybe JD and Finn tag titles back. I don't think so, but who knows?
I mean, you could have
JD will win the speed
JD.
title.
You could have JD and Carlito go after the tag titles, maybe. Kind of. I don't know.
I also think they'll probably tell a story that maybe Becky attacked Bayley. But I don't know. And she didn't really
Chris Van Vliet is a genius, by the way. What happens right after WrestleMania? He puts up an interview with Bayley.
I know.
Look at that guy is on the ball all the damn time. When people are talking about a certain person, and then all of a sudden there's a Chris Van Vliet here, you're like, God damn, that guy is fucking on the ball.
Yeah.
But then we get into our main event.
Oh boy.
John Cena defeating Cody Rhodes, which I think we all kind of saw it coming. Even though I predicted Cody, I think I just predicted him because I was like, well, they've swerved us before. I think most of us thought Cody was going to win the first time he faced Roman. And I say most of us because Pez was like, I'm not betting against Roman, and he ended up being right. And I was like, well, I want that moment, so I'm going to go with Cody. And unfortunately, I didn't have that moment. And even then, like I think the match was fine. I don't know if these two worked super well together. I think maybe it's just going to take some getting used to seeing heel Cena work in the match now.
He did the same match he always does, just in slow motion.
Yeah, and I think that's.
I'm a heel now, so I'll just do all my spots slower and more space in between them. Okay.
And usually he's the one, getting all the abuse and the punishment. He's usually on the defensive more often, and then he makes his comeback. I thought, the 5 moves of doom in slow motion. I thought it was dumb. I didn't like it. It was like let's pick up the pace. Where you're the main event, and I'm falling asleep. I shouldn't be falling asleep during the main event. We kept waiting for The Rock to show up. He never showed up, but we did get Travis Scott, so cool. And then
in the record book now, officially, Travis Scott helped John Cena win the title.
Yeah, with a low blow and a title shot to the face.
He did sell the crossroads well. Honestly, I give him that. Like he killed him. But yeah.
And it was just over 21 minutes. The match, I think it started at like 7:10, which would be 10:10 for you guys. And so they had plenty of time, and it's still only 20 minutes. I think I say only 20 minutes, as if that's a short match. But it's kind of short for a Mania main event, especially your final main event for John Cena, final Mania main event. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about this. I'm sorry, JP. I didn't mean to upset you. Yeah, I didn't like this. I liked the result. I just didn't like how we got there, Pez.
Yeah, I think that's the consensus on the internet. Is like people aren't necessarily against John Cena winning the title because a heel champion run for Cena is interesting. In theory, it's just the way we got there was very underwhelming and might end up going down as one of the worst main events. I would say like the worst main event, but one of the lesser ones, at least in the last 10, 20 years. This is not very good. Yeah, it was and running back, like even my late next to were like, she's like, I'm bored. It's like, like, this is kind of a boring match. And then, yeah, but here's the thing. So we're watching it, right? Jacob, I think we were watching it live, and like, referee goes down, right? And we're like, okay, here we go. Here comes the shenanigans. Like, here comes, maybe The Rock, whatever. And, just like last year, I was like, okay, here comes the shenanigans. Okay. So Travis Scott comes out first, and we're like, oh, God damn it, this fucking guy again. We're like, okay, maybe he just comes out first, and The Rock comes out right behind him. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Okay. I guess he was kind of involved in that, Elimination Chamber thing. So fine. Okay, but where's The Rock? Like, we're just really waiting for him. And then no Rock. And then even, the pinfall happens, still no Rock. Like, and we're just like, wait, what? Like, how does this not, like, how is he not here? Like, this is his champion. Should he not be here for the crowning of his champion? Like, and I'm sorry, I know we're jumping all over the place, but yeah, he goes on Pat McAfee today and gives the most bullshit excuse of like, I didn't want to be, I just wanted to let, Cody and John have their moment, and I just didn't want to get involved. Motherfucker, you made yourself involved when you started the soul thing and got involved in Elimination Chamber. This whole thing is you're the catalyst of. Okay, like you are the cog turning the wheel behind the scenes. You have to at least pay that off, and then you can go off and do another movie. Like, this is WrestleMania, dude. Like, what are you waiting for? Like, and that excuse also doesn't hold water because Travis Scott got involved in the main event, who was also in that fucking, angle. So like, you didn't come out for this, but like, what? Like, it doesn't make sense at all. And I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
But he said that he didn't think Travis Scott was going to be. He didn't know if Travis Scott was going to get involved. I don't buy that either. But also, that doesn't hold water because we were talking about merchandise for it. They were selling shirts saying, "Finally, The Rock has come back to Vegas." So clearly, at some point, he was meant to be there.
Yes,
and
he was meant to be there and meant to be involved. 100%.
I think this is what, and Brian Alvarez had that as theory, and I think it makes sense. The whole angle where Sin turns heel, I think that was meant to happen at Mania, and then the fallout from whatever. But for whatever reason they hot shotted it. He says it because they needed him for ticket sales. I don't know. I think they're doing fine. So they did it at Elimination Chamber, and that's all why Cena's promos all the time felt the same because he didn't have Rock there to bounce off. Bounce off. They couldn't talk about Rock. He wasn't there. So, like, I don't know. I feel like, that it was just the Mania thing was meant to be the heel turn, and then they didn't. And like, for whatever reason, he couldn't do Mania, and then because he's doing a movie, and he couldn't just say, "Oh, I'm busy. I'm doing a movie." He's got to come up with some other excuse. Yeah,
and I find that hard to believe just because the heel turn is what made this match interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's what made it interesting, and that's a good thing, which made it interesting. But I don't know if that was initially I don't know. That was like the initial.
I don't. I think he's just guessing.
No, I don't know. I just think that I don't. Well, at the end of the day, I think he realized he was making production schedules for a movie. We're going to take him out of WrestleMania, and he couldn't just he couldn't just say that in an interview, and so I don't know.
But even then, bullshit. You have a private jet. You can be there for a day. Fuck off.
Yeah.
You have a private jet. You can get a day off from your movie. Go do WrestleMania. It's Wrestle-fucking-Mania. Jump over in the private jet. Do the WrestleMania spot. Go back. Like that's. I think that's a piss poor excuse for not being there because clearly the crowd was expecting him there. Like because it would have. Okay, I get that maybe you got to take time after the fact, but like you got to be there to see your champ crowned. That was the part of the fucking storyline. Is like he's gonna be now my champion, and this is gonna be my guy, and you're not there to see that happen. That's ridiculous.
But he's a mindfuck because it's like when you expect him to be there, he's not there, and then when you're like, okay, we're in a role with a different storyline, he's like, actually, let me get involved. I'm going to muscle in this storyline here, and we're going to change this. And it's like, dude, show
Either be there, bro, or don't be there. Be there or fuck off. Like, go away. permanently, or like be committed to the storyline that you got involved in, that you did, because you could have said no to the Elimination Chamber thing too, and Cena could have just turned heel on his own, and then we wouldn't have been expecting you. But like you got involved, and you're supposed to be the guy like pulling the strings in the storyline, and you can't be bothered to show up. Like, piss off, bro. Like, I don't even see you anymore if that's the case. Like, just
like and going forward, like I assume going forward, we're not going to see Travis Scott. He's probably good. He's busy too. So it's like, well, I don't know.
And also hold on. Before I forget this, because if I don't buy the bullshit either that like, oh, I didn't want to steal Cody and John's moment. Bullshit. Last year, remember how much shenanigans involved in that main event last year? And like everybody loved it. And it was still, at the end of the day, it was still Cody finished his story, and it was still focused on Cody. Could have done the exact same thing here. So I don't buy that excuse either, because remember how many people got involved last year and how crazy it got, and it's still focused on Cody at the end of the day. Like, that's bullshit. And you still could have focused on Cena at the end of the day. But like you needed that shot of like Rock holding up Cena's, arm with his title or whatever, or just looking on or something, or counting the pin or whatever, something in this match, and we didn't get it. And that's what people are going to remember, is how your show ended with it.
I guess I'm just, it's rather odd that like after that happened, like Cena never mentioned, basically never mentioned the Rock at all. Like it's basically like that part of the story never happened. It's like, what in Rock's mind, did he change his mind about the whole thing? Like, it's weird. It was just like, it was a cool storyline, and he just found it. It's almost like overnight he changed his mind or something, because it's like Cena didn't mention the Rock wrinkle to it much at all.
But Cody mentioned it, and Cena never rebutted it, so it's not like he denied it. Like it was there, but I don't know. Yeah, the whole thing was weird. I don't know. JPO, you go. We talked enough.
Real quick though, before, because I do have to head out.
Oh, Jacob, you go, and I'll take over.
I just want to run over the fantasy aspect real quick. Still a really good week for JPO. From between Raw and SmackDown, you had 90, but then WrestleMania saw you pick up 115. So a total of 215 for the weekend, putting you at a total of 1,055, which is still good enough to be in the lead. Pez made a big jump, 50 from Raw and SmackDown, but 180 from WrestleMania, putting you up to 858. So still a little bit of a deficit, but nothing that can't be made up, especially now that you've got a number of champions on your roster. Richie, Raw and SmackDown saw you pick up 30, while WrestleMania saw you pick up 70. So you are now at 849, just behind Pez. And then as far as myself, this week, unfortunately, Raw and SmackDown only saw me pick up 40 points, because apparently tag title matches can't end in a freaking Motor City Machine Guns win, whatever. And then, WrestleMania saw me pick up 95, and I'm sitting at 933. So that is where the standings sit. Pez jumping up into third, and I can only see him moving up with
because I've got the tag champs now. Fatu's a US champ now. Pence is still touring on the IC scene. I've got the WWE champion.
All right. To that note, very quickly, I want to make an announcement. I'm going to use my last fantasy. I'm going to drop Ludwig Kaiser, and I'm going to pick up Rusev.
All right, and you are in last place, so you do get to go first.
So that actually, that tracks. So
all right.
So that's your last one. Okay, I'll scratch it off on my thing too. So you want to pick up Rusev? Okay.
Right. I'm waiting to see who debuts and gets.
I don't have any picks anyways left. I'm done with mine. So I guess Jacob, you're real quick before you leave. You've got your.
I'm gonna hold off. I have got one left. I'm gonna hold off. Until after, at least until after SmackDown, see who gets called up, or debuts. So I'm gonna hold off. I do have to head out though. I got some comedy to go do. WrestleMania, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, because I still think there were pretty good highs, but some low lows. Probably the outside of the pandemic WrestleMania, probably the worst WrestleMania of the 2020 so far, in my opinion.
All right, Jacob. I got you, buddy. All right, got you
I'll go
covered.
ahead.
Jacob's heading out. I'll take over here. But yeah, we'll get to JPO. Let's get JPO's thoughts. We haven't gotten to him yet about the
Well,
main
did
event.
you want to check?
I'm assuming
No.
JPO doesn't want to change his roster. He's fine.
No.
You're doing just fine. You're in first. You swapped out Owens for AJ. I think you're good. So you still got 2 more in the bag if you want to, last minute picks later.
No.
You could be the guy to pick up an Aleister Black if you need to or something, at some point. But we'll see what happens. But anyways, JPO, your thoughts on the main event? What you got?
Yeah, I'll try to be, somewhat semi-optimistic about this because I'm still enjoying a little bit of the John Cena journey here. Yeah, I don't care about Travis Scott. I've very, very rarely found anyone that does yet. That seems to be pretty consistent. And again, I feel like I've said this before during Elimination Chamber, make us care, and they still haven't. He just randomly pops up during these 2 huge moments. Like, I don't know. Anywho, match was a slog. I didn't hate it, because at least I was invested in the ending. It's like one of those movies where it's like you're a slow paced motherfucker, but at least I care about how it ends. So I'm with it to a degree, So, yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think it's horrible. Worst Mania, I think all those are overblown. It means you probably haven't seen all the Manias if you think this is one of the worst Manias. Yeah, there's just things that could have been done better. You know what I mean? If they had maybe chopped off a couple minutes, if there was a Rock appearance, if there was more cohesive to the story in this, because I also try to let go of the Rock thing a little bit. They didn't technically promise it, but in a way they definitely did promise it, from the T-shirts. It's just the fact that that's how it was set up story-wise, I guess. So, definitely could have been done better, but I'm still hoping that there's at least some more fun things to come. But we might have to get used to this being kind of John Cena's level of match, though. That's what I'm afraid of. I don't know if John Cena's pulling on any 5 stars on his way out.
Well, he may not have it all year either. Like, he could just have it for a certain amount of time and then drops it at some point. You never know. Like, he might not have it the whole year. He may or may not. We'll see.
There's also not the idea that it fits in with his character. I'm going to ruin wrestling for you, so he might just be kind of like the heel persona might be also covering up as an excuse for the fact that he can't go much anymore. So like, hey, I'm going to ruin wrestling for you, but like not having great matches. Yeah.
Even on the McAfee show, they reiterated like, how are you sure that you're not going to like pull a Terry Funk and become unretired? And he says, hey, I made a promise to myself years ago. When I'm a step slower, I'm out. And he's like, and I'm a step slower. Like, he admits it. So
yeah. But even just real quick, the actual finish of the match we have to go over. So, we get the ref bump, right? Travis Scott comes out, no Rock, eventually. But he, Cody takes out Travis, but then John Cena, brings the belt into the ring. There's a tug of war for it. Cody has the belt, and then looks like he's going to use it. And, the guy who bloodied him up, by the way, at Elimination Chamber and has tried to humiliate him at every turn. And Cody just can't bring himself to do it. And then he gets low blowed and hit with the fucking belt. Geek of the fucking week is Cody Rhodes, your goddamn champion.
I'm still giving it to the Viking Raiders, but that's fine.
That's just outfits. I mean, match in match like character.
I don't know. I get where they're going with it, but yeah, I didn't love it. You know what I mean? Like he does look dumb. And the fact that like, okay, I won't hit you with the belt.
I won't hit you. Why the fuck not? Why the crowd would have popped for it? Like you could have absolutely done that.
Yeah, exactly. Who never would have backed down? Stone Cold. Stone Cold would have hit you in the face.
Steve Austin wouldn't give a shit. He would hit you in the face with a chair.
Stone Cold doesn't care. He runs over people with ATVs. No. But no. But like, I don't know. I think they're trying to tell a story of like, well, but it's
good for evil.
It's sort of the storyline, the weird storyline I tried to tell with like John Cena and Kane back then. Oh, you embrace evil. You want to go to best evil. You want to, but that's like it wouldn't necessarily be evil if you used it. It's like it would just be like revenge, come up and so not even like that kind of. It wouldn't be even that kind of thing. But it reminds me of like when like Bailey had a hugger gimmick and she like lost it because she wouldn't hit Alexa Bliss with a cane. It's like, dude, you're in a no disqualification match. If I can just hit, I don't know, just hit her. But yeah, again, I probably didn't dislike the match as much as others. It stepped slower. I did like how there was that no thrills entrance he has. I think that's kind of fits his character. Like it's just all dark.
I'm cool
It's
with
just
that.
like a plain font. It just says John Cena, and it just plays his music. Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
And you see that the obligatory Triple H photo. It's him, but he's got his back towards the camera, and it's with the title, with the belt.
And he's coming out with the belt backwards as well, like instead of forwards. Kind of disrespecting it a little bit. Yeah, it's not bad.
Hey guys, for other reasons, I gotta scoot as well. Actually,
Okay.
It's been a pleasure. I will see you all next week.
Oh, quick WrestleMania score overall, just quickly.
Oh yeah. No, I mean I got a minute. Probably close to what Jacob said. I had enough fun. There's enough undercard fun, and I think a 7 makes sense. Like I do want to kind of hear what you guys think overall. What are you guys thinking?
I'm in that same like 7.5 territory because the main event of night 1 was really good. The drama was there, and yeah, that undercard of night 2 was really good. So that undercard was excellent, and even some of the the night 1 matches were not bad. Like some of them were fun. They just weren't like super WrestleMania quality. But I think there was still enough WrestleMania moments and enough memorable stuff to where like I wouldn't say it was a bad pay-per-view at all. Like there's way worse WrestleManias to go back and look overall. You know what I mean? Like top to bottom.
What's WrestleMania in the city?
Yeah.
What do you think, Richard, though, score-wise for this one?
I liked it for the most. I liked it for the most part. I thought it was good. I thought that when you've got like 2 match of the I think 2 of the match of the contenders with the triple threats. You can't give it too bad of a score. And yeah, I think the internet has an issue with like, the last thing I saw was the worst thing ever. It's a recency thing. So I'll go, but yeah, I'm not going to do too high. I'll go 7.5.
All right, sounds good. Well, Jake, thanks for thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll wrap it up here.
No, definitely. Normal time next Thursday, probably.
Yeah, no, we'll be back to normal time next Thursday. Yeah, we'll talk a little more AEW because we're gonna go to AEW this week, and we'll be back to regularly scheduled.
It wasn't your week, AEW.
Yeah, it's fine.
Absolutely.
We'll back to us. All right, JP. We could talk a little bit more, Richie, about the Raw after because we've kind of touched on the Paul Heyman stuff, and some of the aftermath, but obviously we can go into a little bit more. But yeah, we had John Cena cut his promo, his first kind of post champion promo, again continuing the sort of ruining wrestling, sort of thing, railing on the fans and how he doesn't have to wrestle and all that. And yeah, we got our, I think what we thought, Richie, going into a St. Louis Backlash, who was going to be his opponent. He's literally on the poster. He was one of the first guys promoted for it. In his hometown, he's going to challenge, John Cena, which makes sense. But it'll at least have a different dynamic with Randy Orton being the babyface this time and John Cena being a heel. So it's a match that's been run a lot of times, but it's got a different dynamic to it. So I'm at least okay with that. But yeah,
I saw like an audience came to it. I didn't catch it on TV, but like when Cena turns around. RKO, he goes, oh shit. Shit.
Yeah, he actually literally came out from under the ring and stuff, so that was cool. Yeah, and it was a good moment, and yeah, it should be all right. I mean, the promo should be good, and then the build up should be all right. They have a lot of history, so the videos leading up to it, Richie, they could dig through 15 years of matches these guys have had. So really 20 because I mean they have matches way back in the day as well. I forgot to mention, Richie, Randy Orton's attire at WrestleMania was a throwback to like his 2002 attire. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I pointed that out to one of my friends. I don't know if you got it, but I'm like, this is like Randy Orton when he was like versing Bob Holly.
This is like when he was using like the overdrive as a finisher, or like the cross body, from the top. Yeah. But yeah, that was cool. I like the throwback gear. I'm always down with that. And then we had some other Raw stuff, like you said. Rusev, as you just picked up, debuted. Kind of interrupting the tag match. So he did have some new music. It wasn't the Rusev, that. Yeah,
I'm not a fan. I mean, like whoever does the music these days is like,
Def Rebel.
They need a new job because that music is not good. It just feels very video gamey and generic. But
maybe it'll warm up to it. We'll see.
I think it's telling when there's like this kind of pause whenever someone comes out, or even someone who's like returning, and people have to like wait until the Titantron. Like, Stephanie Vaquer. Okay, cool. Oh,
Yeah, it's not as instantly recognizable as the music of yesteryear. Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, with the people who still have their old music, instantly recognizable. It is what it is. But yeah, we had that stuff, and yeah, we talked about the Gunther stuff already, so we'll see where that goes. And then yeah, we had this main event segment where Seth Rollins came out with Paul Heyman. Didn't say much, he was quickly interrupted by CM Punk, and I like the CM Punk was like, I'm not here to talk. I'm wrapping up my fists and let's fight. Let's just fight immediately. I like that. Back and forth. The Roman comes out eventually. There's big brawls, but eventually, he gets the better of him. And introducing, Braun Breaker comes out and spears Roman Reigns, and he is now aligned, with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. And again, I think it works for him. We've gotten teases before, Richie, of Paul Heyman eyeing Braun Breaker. It's like
I like how it was subtle too. Like not a lot of people would pick it up, but he's been in interviews where Paul Heyman's been walking past.
No, kind of eyeballed him. They've had some interactions, one or two in NXT as well. It makes sense. I think it's we like I said, he dropped the IC title again without being pinned. So he wasn't part of the actual pinfall. Dom's got it, but it's dropping that so we can elevate him to a new program, a more main event program. And if we get it looks like we could get like a Backlash tag team match, like not any kind of, title thing or anything like that, which is fine. Just a showcase of like stars. We could have Seth and Braun versus a reluctant team of Punk and Roman, which they could still play with these guys having to kind of reluctantly team up against this greater threat, I guess. And then even then you could break off after that, Richie, and do singles matches. You could have eventually Seth get his match with Roman. We still haven't done that one-on-one yet, so that could be down the line of like SummerSlam or something. Yeah, you could do Punk and Braun. That'd be a fun match. If they end up adding maybe even somebody else into the fray. I don't necessarily mind your idea of like Becky being like the woman of the group. Like you could have a Heyman girl, Becky Lynch. It would make sense with Seth Rollins, obviously, with them being married, which they've made no secrets about, and then both being a heel.
You could do like an intergender six-man. You could be CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Lyra versus. Becky Lynch, Braun, and Seth, and then eventually that could probably lead to like maybe or with Becky, it could lead to like the Intercontinental title match, but also maybe I alluded to it's possible that she's one that attacked Bailey, so maybe they do it.
There's definitely possibilities, and it was a good way to end Raw, and like Heyman said, this is a start of a storyline that could theoretically go for a year. This sort of Heyman, a new Heyman faction could certainly be stretched out to a whole year. So and I think Seth, he's fun as a babyface, at times, but I think he works best when he's a heel, and kind of doing his revolutionary thing. So, and I think that works. And this is a fresh look for Heyman, going back to being a faction leader like the day. It'd be interesting to see that if they call it something, or call it like a new Dangerous Alliance kind of thing, or he could go back to being called Paulie Dangerously, like if he wants to rebrand himself.
Bring back the brick type phone.
Bring back the cell phone until he's gonna make calls to everybody. We'll see what happens. Going forward. With this new kind of alliance. So interesting possibilities there. It was an interesting week overall for WrestleMania week. Against highs and lows, ups and downs. Overall. Not a bad Mania. Still a solid Mania overall when you look at the grand scheme of things. Just some disappointments. It's interesting. We talked about, night one, great main event, okay undercard. Night two, great undercard, okay main event, and then underwhelming main event. So, great contrast there.
Did you have to watch Triple H's hour-long speech?
No, I didn't watch that. I would have only watched it to see how many people were sleeping in the crowd.
It does.
Really?
I get it because he's a boss, but some say so other people get their time cut for like 5, 10, 6 minutes. Like you have to condense your career in 5, 6 minutes, and he gets it out.
Well, then it was kind of a silly idea to do it right after SmackDown, because like the crowds are already going to be tired, the wrestlers and the workers are already going to be tired, from just working SmackDown. That I don't know why they don't just do it on like the Thursday night or something, like the night before SmackDown. Like, why don't you just do that? Like, it still be part of WrestleMania festivities, and you can just get it out of the way and then do other things. I don't know. I did think it was weird we didn't mention Luger wasn't part of the lineup when they brought out the Hall of Fame people.
Oh yeah.
I like because he was the one that wasn't there. I don't know if he maybe just couldn't make it as far as health wise or whatever, and had to leave, or I don't know what the deal was. But yeah, Luger wasn't part of the showcase when they brought him out to the stage.
Could have had a representative of him though.
It's still like DDP representing him or something. I don't know. Yeah, something. But it is what it is. But yeah, your thoughts on just overall the whole weekend and just any of the other thoughts on anything else that happened to the weekend?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's always a busy time of the year as a wrestling fan, and for the most part, it's always a fun time. I'm sure. Sure, New Orleans is going to be fun as well. It doesn't feel like that long since they've been. It was 34. Was that the last time? That was. I enjoyed everything for the most part, but I think overall, like last year's Mania was head and shoulders better, but this was the worst. Like JP said, I've seen WrestleMania 9, I've seen WrestleMania 11, I've seen WrestleMania 26. Yeah, say what you will about Cena and Cody, I would watch this 1,000 times over Cena and The Miz. Yes. I hated that man. That's one of the worst man events, in my opinion. But for the most part, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad overall, and it was still a fun time to be a wrestling fan. Like I said, it's always good time. You can go on, Triller and watch all the different WrestleMania, indie shows and whatnot. Those are always fun to see. The different city become a mecca of wrestling. Every year. I might go down. New Orleans is not that far, so I might go down next year and just enjoy some of the wrestling festivities in New Orleans next year because it's only about a 9.5 hour drive, so that's not that far. So I might go check out some of that stuff. Not necessarily go to Mania because it's too damn expensive, but they do have like watch parties and stuff you can do, at different places for Mania, and still go see some of the indie shows and whatnot. So I might go do that.
We should probably mention too. They announced a lot of locations for other show events. They can do Money in the Bank in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Money in the Bank is at that Intuit Dome. They've been running a lot lately because it's like a brand new venue because they had the Netflix debut there as well. Yeah. Haven't they also run like another Raw like in between as well? They've been running there a lot at that Intuit Dome. But they announced that.
They're doing Survivor Series in San Diego at the baseball park.
Yeah, the baseball stadium there. Yeah, the Padres place there. So maybe that'll have a cool feel of like. Like WrestleMania 19 was at like a baseball stadium. I don't mind like baseball stadium setups; they're pretty cool. We'll see that with AEW.
They announced something for Perth, but they said that there's yet to be announced. That there was they're going to do Raw and SmackDown there, but they've yet to be announced PLE. So they haven't come up. Basically, they haven't come up with a name. But it's
all right. Let's come up with a name right now. Perth. Let's see.
They've already. They had the opportunity to do the alliteration for P, and they did it with Clash of Paris. So Peril in Perth. There you go.
Yeah, Peril in Perth. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, do something with Peril or whatever. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Anarchy in Australia. I don't know, just anything or whatever. Just do something.
And the biggest news of the week: Cardi B is hosting SummerSlam. I hope.
Yeah, that won't get annoying real quick immediately. I was already annoyed with her in the 30-second commercial, much less her being all over the promotional materials when we get there. That's not going to be annoying immediately. Yeah, talking about the celebrity involvement I don't need at these wrestling shows. That's gonna suck. That's gonna be bad. I hope she gets booed. She could get booed out of the building.
I think WWE overestimate how much the fans appreciate celebrity involvement.
Yeah, I don't think they care. Travis Scott got like zero reaction coming out. Nobody gave a shit. It was just like, Oh yeah, unfortunately you're a part of this. Okay, so where's The Rock? We're still just looking like okay, like we don't give a shit about you. Yeah, who else? But yeah, not good. I could go without ever seeing Travis Scott on WWE TV ever again. I don't think we need that. But yeah, the celebrity involvement is getting a little ridiculous. But we'll see. Yeah, so interesting developments, yeah, as far as setting up at least PLEs and stuff for the rest of the year. Yeah, they didn't have the War Games thing on the Survivor Series, so they may not do it this year. They didn't have like the stuff on the logos and whatnot. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed, Richie, if they didn't do it this year and just went back to a more traditional elimination like Survivor Series thing. Not do it every single year.
Being like, I don't mind something like having a change and not having like a theme. You don't have to stick to a theme every year. Like, oh no, it's about because it goes back to like the Vince era. It's like, well, it's Hell in a Cell. We got to do Hell in a Cell. It's like, do it when you need to, but when it's a few calls for it. Did you catch the botch? What I think it was like the first match of Mania when they were showing a replay and it said Survivor Series.
Oh,
It actually says Survivor Series instead of WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. Oops. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to them just doing a traditional, kind of Survivor Series, some stuff like you could do. I think there's more than enough people you could do a men's Survivor Series and like a women's Survivor Series this year. If they did that, there's plenty of women as well. You could do like a whole 5-on-5 like women's team thing.
Yeah, I miss those matches, and when they had like, stakes to them. Like I remember that one where it was like if Team Eric Bischoff won, Austin would be out of his job, and it was like there was a lot of emotion. Just like just like ones with a lot of emotion, and I mean I have a love-hate relationship with those things because sometimes people get eliminated for with moves they wouldn't normally get pinned.
Yeah. But if you give it time, like, just some of them feel rushed. But if you give them time, like, it can work. We'll see what happens, But yeah, a lot of interesting things in the pipeline. Yeah, we'll see what the SmackDown follow up this week. If we see Cody, this week on SmackDown, we got the TLC match we talked about, and Aleister Black is pretty much confirmed to debut on Friday. So we'll see, how his presentation will he have his old kind of coffin entrance, and theme music. I'm down for that. Just keep his old theme music that he used to have.
You don't have to do a Death Rebel thing. Get his old theme music back.
No, just get his old NXT theme music back and his coffin entrance. That was cool. Bring it back.
The same band that does Aleister Black's theme song does the White Six theme song, Bray Wyatt's theme song. So just you can you're able to get that Code Orange.
Yeah, keep it the same. Hopefully they do. I would imagine they will because I think Triple H likes Aleister Black, so that's his NXT guy. So I think he'll let him keep his old theme because there's no need to change it. But we'll see where he fits in and who he starts feuding with. But that should be a lot of fun. I mean, he could run back some. There's some great guys he could have some fun matches with on that card. You got Damian Priest, LA Knight, Ray Phoenix, you got Fatu, who else is tooling around in there? Carmelo Hayes, any number of these guys. Andrade, he could have, he's had, we just reviewed that Andrade match on that NXT thing with him and Andrade, man, threw down. That was great. So those guys can have awesome matches.
It just both depends too if he's going to come babyface or heel. I could also fit in and like I don't know what's happening with White Six, but eventually they come back, and I think he could fit in there pretty well if they need like another member or something.
It's like the White Six thing is weird because having like every time Alexa Bliss was on TV, they would like flash the stuff on screen like the Wyatt stuff, but like they haven't done anything with that. They've been doing that for like. We haven't seen anything come out of that, so I don't know. And Alexa Bliss hasn't even been around that much, I don't know what they're doing with that. But it should be still very newsworthy. SmackDown coming up, and then we'll have another Raw next week and see how they follow up with that. So we'll have a couple more things, a few more TV shows. We'll have some Dynamite this week, see how they follow up with that, leading up to Double or Nothing, which they've still got time for Double or Nothing. They still got another month, so they got some things to run around. But great Dynamite last week. They'll be building up to the finals of that tournament. Don't they still have another tournament match? They got Chris and Jamie Hayter, right? Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter this week.
Statlander, Jamie Hayter, and what else is it on the men's side?
But I think we already have the. Or is it Kyle Fletcher and Adam Page, right?
Yeah, they haven't had that Yeah.
So yeah, we still have 2 more for that. I was looking up a quick preview to see what's been announced so far, because I'm sure, Jamie Haler, Chris Statlander in the semifinal match on that. Apparently, the Young Bucks are taking on Speedball and Kevin Knight in a match. So okay,
Cool.
interesting. That's been announced. So yeah, not much officially announced so far. I don't know if they're going to save Fletcher and Page for like the week after, because they could stretch that out to like the week after
Yeah.
there. You can stretch that to another, because you got a month till Double or Nothing, till the actual finals. Do you also think it's going to be Osprey and Page in the finals there? I tend to think it's going to be that, but
I think so. And then as far as the actual winner, like I don't know, because they could go either way. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's Osprey Page. As far as the women go, I don't know. I think it's Mercedes Moné and somebody, but maybe I'm thinking Statlander, but
yeah, who knows? So I guess we'll find out. On Wednesday. We'll get back to some AEW talk. So yeah, I'm sure we'll have things to catch up on. We'll probably just have a sort of regular episode, just catching up on both brands. The TV shows.
I don't reckon.
We don't need to have a theme just yet. We got another, and then we got another week. We'll do that, and then the week after that, we'll actually be digging into Backlash predictions. So yeah, not too far off of that. But we could do something that week if we want to, retro or something. I did say the predictions. It did come down to Richie. You had 9 prediction points. JPO 9 prediction points. Myself and Jacob tied with 10. But if we use the tiebreaker of the entrances for the night one, made 1649 for the entrances. I was closer, so technically I won the rest.
You got another one
another
you
one
had a streak there where you weren't winning at all. Now you're
now I'm winning everything. Technically, though, my lady Pez got 11 right, so she actually kind of won. I told her she wants to if she wants to pick something, she can. She ran some stuff by me, but some stuff we've already done. So I had to forward with some topics we already talked about. But if she could, I told her to keep thinking. If she wants to throw something out there, I'm always down for that. So whatever you want to do, because we'll have some time. We do have Backlash coming up fairly quickly. But then we'll have a few weeks. We'll have like a week in between that and Double or Nothing, and then after that, we'll have a little bit of time before All In. And then before, we'll have the double shot of the AAA show and Money in the Bank in June.
That's really interesting. It's like, I don't know, like 2 shows in the one day, like the 2 WWE shows in one day.
Yeah, and they're running they're both running in LA, but at 2 different venues. I believe the AAA show is going to be at a different venue, is what they said, than the Intuit Dome. It's going to be at some other arena in LA. But Lucha is big in California, so it could be a pretty big show, and it'd be interesting to see how they book it, who they book from the WWE roster, and who they book from the AAA roster, because you could have crossover matches with the LWO guys, with Ray Phoenix. You could have Penta on that show if you want to have Penta on the show. Get some of the Lucha talent. Doing like crossover matches. That could be pretty cool.
Well, Styles was like, "Yay! I'm not gonna get. I have more opportunities for. I'm not gonna get released. Yeah, they're gonna have. They'll make me."
So it should be an interesting couple of months. We got some things in the works, but we'll wrap it up there for now. We've talked everything Wrestlemania. So Richie, anything you want to throw out there before we get out of here?
No. Wheel of Movies. On it's this week, right?
We're doing it this week. We just don't have Lonely Marks right after this week because
So Thursday. So Hunchback of Notre Dame. Haven't seen that movie for a long time, so I'm looking forward to a rewatch.
It's a good movie. You'll enjoy your rewatch. It's
looking forward to that. I'm in the ASAP tournament, taking on Corey Quinto. I'll be taking on him. I think on Saturday or Friday. Saturday. So that should be fun. And then just tournament fights, tier ranker, all that jazz.
And I'm around on the Movie Hero Network. We'll be back with rest of the book tournament, the movies based on books tournament this week. Like Richie said, we'll do a little wheel of movies this week. We just won't have the time crunch, with Lonely Marks right afterwards. So not that we'll talk like forever about it or anything like that, but we won't be bumped up right on it. So that'll be a fresh change of pace. While we love horror, I've got a Jeopardy match this week, so going for JPO's Jeopardy title this week. That's been pretty fun so far. And then me and JPO will be squaring off in Battleground very soon, picking up where we left off. Actually, the winner of that match gets a title shot against Amru Moses. So me versus JPO, so that should be good. Yeah, because we were both in that tournament that they did when it kind of dropped off in the finals of that. So to face Rue, so we're picking that back up. So we'll be taping that I think next week, so it should be out soon after that. But yeah, that's everything I got going on. So we'll be back to regularly scheduled time and program next Thursday at 10 p.m. as we usually are. So we'll take this Thursday off since we just talked a little WrestleMania. We're going to be a little more prescient this week, a little quicker, and also so Jacob could join us to talk WrestleMania. But that'll do it for now. So I think we talked about everything. So Richie will reconvene next week. But for Jacob Barber, for JPO, for Richie, I am Austin Pez Howell, and we'll see you guys next week on Lonely Marks.